All right, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Wiley Show. We have a show to get into, a very impactful show. I want to get into our heavy topics right now. Tyre Nichols is a young brother out of Memphis that was brutally taken out and deleted by the hand of five police officers. And I watched over the footage. I did not want to watch the video. I did not want to watch the body cam video or the cam on the light. I just didn't want to see the footage. But an activist friend of mine's sent me the video. He said, "Wiley, you have to talk about this." And so I watched it. And then I went and I watched Tyre's mother interview. And I just see the police officers, those five black police officers, literally attacking him and beating him senselessly. Like, even when the fact that he was down on the ground, they dragged his body to the police car. I went and I watched the mother's interview that she did with CNN this morning with Don Lemon. And Tyre's mother was saying that the officers knocked on her door and said her son is being arrested for drinking and driving. Is he on drugs? Because he had this supernatural strength. And he's in the hospital because they had to tase him. And so the doctor called Tyre's mother and said, your son is in bad condition. Why haven't you came to the hospital? He said, well, because the police officer saw I can come. So eventually she and her husband came to the hospital, and Tyre's stepfather took the picture of him in the hospital room, hooked up the tubes, badly beating. And I was so glad Don Lemon did an amazing job, saying that this mirrors Emmett Till. It does mirror Emmett Till, because that was like the thought that went across my mind. And it's something that Tyre's mother said to me, that said on the interview, not to me personally, but on an interview. She said these five black officers made the black community look bad, and they also bringing shame to their families. I didn't hear the mother or her husband, Tyre's stepfather, drag the police, call them out their name, call them derogatory names. They stayed on message. And that mother's pain, and I'm hearing they said that Tyre was crying out for his mother as well, how she said she was close with her son. And just hearing that her son was 150 pounds, and here these five big, huge black police officers, did this to this black man. Now, I'm kind of mixed signals has been sent to me, because I've seen how quickly the prosecutor charged those five officers. I see how quickly the chief of police fired the officers. It's happened very, very fast. And yes, race is a part of this. Now, it doesn't excuse race is a part of this. These were five black police officers. So they move really, really fast. I don't think if these were 5 white police officers that we would have got the same type of immediate rush to bring those officers under some type of charges. And people would say, oh my God, but they're Black officers, so it shouldn't be any outrage. You're wearing the badge and you adapt this idea of your oppressor. Though you can be in a police officer and you can be a change maker, but a lot of these Black police officers, they join this force and they get indoctrinated with the spirit of we're going to be more aggressive, more painful to Black people. And just because you're Black does not mean that you're going to not be aggressive to Black people. Now, there's some great Black police officers, great police officers, period. But it doesn't surprise me that 5 Black police officers are aggressive. I've talked to people in the hood that they get more aggressiveness from Black officers than they do from white officers. So that does not neglect the fact that these officers abuse their power, and they abuse their power in that instance. They were charged. Hopefully they could get convicted. I did see the charges. I think those charges will stick. Hopefully the jury will find those officers guilty. But we know by history, it's hard to, a jury is really, really hard that, to charge, to convict officers, and they was let out. Bail, they had bail, but they had their bail posted. So, but they're probably protected by, the police union. But clearly they abuse their power, and they definitely need to be put behind bars. I don't want to get my hopes up because I've seen this similar happen in Baltimore with officers. Some were Black and they got off. So I want to see if these officers are actually going to be charged. They're charged but convicted of this crime. So we're going to see how this is going to play out. But I'm praying for Tyrese's mother. I'm praying for, Tyrese's stepfather. I'm just praying for that family because he did not deserve to be abused by these officers. And I typically try not to talk about these stories because it affects me in my personal life. It affects me to the point where I would just sit at home and I would watch video after video after video after video. And that stuff do drive you to your breaking point. I remember when I was going through in my mental decline, I was watching a lot of police brutality videos. I was watching Emmett Till documentary, all that stuff. And I was just in the house for days on days on days. And it wasn't good for my mental health. And so when I saw the video, I immediately was like, oh my gosh, this is painful to see because it affected my mental health. And I just didn't like, no, it affected me. And so just seeing this, I have to talk about, even though it's painful to talk about, I have a duty because I have an international show that reach a lot of people. And I have a growing platform, and I owe it to my people to talk about this story. Will I be joining any protests? No. I was invited to go to a protest tomorrow in front of the Dallas Police Department. I'm not going to any protests because protests, it ends up peaceful. Then you get the agitators, they come there and they don't be peaceful. And then they want to just start throwing up charges and charging with felonies. And I'm not doing that. My protest and my message is going to be in my home, doing a show, talking about these stories on the media side. Me being on the front lines, catching felonies. I have friends that call all these felonies. They're having a hard time getting apartments and all that because they will go to all these protesters and it will end up peaceful and it just end up wrong. And they get all these type of charges. And the higher of you are being a blogger and your social media, they're going to come after you harder to make an example. So I'm not even going to try to go through all of that stuff. That's just not my life right now. Maybe one day that would be my life where I can have bail put away. I got a lawyer on speed dial where I can just handle those type of charges if they just come and just would defend me like what Dr. King have. It will have to be strategically me doing this because I know I would be a target. You're out there in the streets, you're protesting. I know that I'm going to be a target. So I want to make sure all my ducks is in a row. So if I do get arrested for being at a protest, I got a lawyer, I got bail money, I got people that will represent me, and then also people that will represent me on the outside when I'm on the inside to continue the message. But I'm just not going to go out there and just protest and loot and all. I'm just not going to do that. I'm too grown for that. I'm trying to have a family. I'm trying to grow this, get the ground. I'm trying to be a homeowner, and I just can't afford to get felonies in Texas because I almost had one, and it's terrible. And then in order for you to get that cleared up, you got to wait 5 or 6 years to get that off your record. So if you get another felony, that original agreement just going to stay on your record, and then it's going to be hard for you to get an apartment. So no, I'm not going to be out there. We shall overcome, and no justice, no peace. I could do that right in my house. I'm just not going to do that. Be out there and all that. I'm hurt because when I go out there, I'm going to be angry. And the officer is going to say something that's going to make me pop off and agitate me and provoke me. And I'm just not prepared mentally. I'm not prepared emotionally to go out there in the streets and be on the front lines because that's that anger going to be in me. And I know I'm not ready for that type of being on the front lines, and Dr. King, when Dr. King was doing what he's doing, everybody didn't go on the front lines. You had people that was in media, you had the press, you had people that was in the political circles, you had people that was doing phone banking, people that was writing letters, and then you had those that put bodies on the streets. So it all intertwined. I just know me personally, I'm just not ready to hit the streets because if I see you trying to drag my sister or my brother out there in the street, I'm going to try to defend my brother, and then I'm going to wind up being a hashtag. You know what I'm saying? And so I just know me mentally and emotionally, I'm just not ready to be out there protesting. I'm just not that ready. I went to a memorial for this young brother when he witnessed the death of Bachman. I believe that was his name, when the officer came to the apartment and shot him when he's eating ice cream, and the brother witnessed it and testified. And then about a couple of months after trial, he ended up dead. And so I went there, and I just remember the rage that I just felt. And I said, I'm just going to stick on the media side because I get angry real quick. And I just don't want to be getting all these type of felonies. I just don't. Because again, Dr. King had the felonies, but he also had a PhD. He also had a staff. He had donations coming in, and it was really, really rough. I just don't have that. He also had a wife that had the home front on it. I need to get to that type of level. So I just can't. I just not gonna do that in Texas because I know how they operate. I will be becoming a target, and I'm just not willing to deal with that type of unnecessary harassment. Getting these type of felonies, fighting these type of cases because I'm out here protesting, and I'm just not ready. Now, once I get my ducks in a row, get a good attorney, get bail money set aside, strategically talk to my attorney, what can they charge you with, what can you do, and blah, 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 this, then yes, maybe I will pick up that baton to be out there protesting. I would, but I need everything strategically to be into place. So if I'm in jail, everything will be taken care of, and I don't have the stresses of trying to get out and all of that. So again, I'm living, so that's why you don't really see me out there protesting. Have I been out there protesting and doing some things in my former life? Yes, I've been at a protest. I've done it, but I always get really, really angry because then the police, they come and they get aggressive. And what I've noticed in a lot of these protesting, it'd be peaceful, but then you get outside agitators that come in and destroy the whole piece. Their sole job is to cause confusion, to take advantage, to loot, to do all this stuff, and just to do all type of stuff. And then you caught in a crossfire, and then me being a public figure and having a show, my name get labeled, and I'm getting harassed and I'm getting targeted. Like, no, I'm just not going to putting myself in that type of predicament. Thank you, Regina, for that. I'm just not going to do that. I've seen most of my friends that I've known in Chicago, they got felonies. And it's hard, you know what I'm saying? Some of them are doing pretty good. You know, Jamal Green, I think he don't have a felony, but he fought through them cases, but it cost some money. The other Lamar LaCour, I think he got some charges. Then my other girl, my other guy, Jedediah, and I've seen that. And I was like, oh, I don't want to. I just gotta move strategically out here in these streets. And my message is going to be for my show and to do all that stuff like that. But yeah, you have to be very careful. These are very trying times, and I know how Texas operate. It's a very prejudiced, conservative, racist place, and I'm just not going to feud the fire and all that, and not playing my cards right when it comes to stuff like that. Is I'm hurt by Tyre? Yes, I'm hurt. I'm angry because that could have been me. Every day that I get behind the wheel, I make sure everything is together. But you can have all your ducks in a row, and you can just have a terrible officer, just terrible. I remember I was driving. I think I was speeding. I was rushing. I was late to get to work. And I'm riding through Plano. Now, mind you, it's early in the morning. I didn't even know where to pull over because it's dark. And this is Plano, a predominantly white area. And the officer was like, he said, because I was speeding, Mr. Officer. And he let me off with a warning. Great, but that officer could have went totally different. He could have been just strictly just racist and just did not like black people. And could have just went all the way like, where you running? Driving that fast. Get out of the car, dragging me out of the car, all type of stuff. That could have went totally left. He could have had a bad day. I don't know, you driving fast. Don't, and all type of stuff he could have done and just totally just took me out. You know what I'm saying? And so I just didn't want, and I got pulled over, and that was like a couple of years back, and snatching me out of the car, and then I'm going to defend myself. I'm just not gonna let you just beat me up. Just not gonna. I am a Malcolm X supporter. I've researched that man, and one thing that he did say, he always believed in self-defense. So I am a very peaceful 6'2" man. When you peaceful, I'm peaceful. But if I'm under attack, I'm going to go in survival mode. It's either going to be me or you. Okay? It's either going to be me or you. All right? And so at least they can, if I do get put out, at least they can say that man fought his last breath. You know what I'm saying? So I have a picture of Brother Malcolm on my wall. So I'm peaceful. I'm the most peaceful brother you ever gonna meet in your life. But if I'm under attack, I instantly go into survival mode. So I don't never want to have to go in survival mode with a cop with a badge and a gun and all of that, because I'm already at a disadvantage automatically. Because I don't carry any weapons. Only weapon that I carry is my mind and the knowledge that I've learned, and I be peaceful. Anytime the police pull me over, I'm very nice. I don't get out, why are you pulling me over for, bruh? I don't talk like that. Very professional. And even when you're a professional, you still can have that wicked devil that want to kill, steal, and destroy you. You could be just as cool, calm, collected, in a bow tie, in a tie, a nice cut, teeth white. You could be professional all day long, but you can't change something as your skin color, because if that person is just evil and a devil, that their sole job is to steal, kill, and destroy. So, and you could be just as nice and professional. Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Officer, and still get pop and deleted. So, yes, we want to teach our young boys and women to be professional. But we also have to tell you, with all that professionalism, you still might get you a cop or cops that ain't gonna meet you with professional. They're gonna meet you with just being ratchet and ghetto, and evil. And so when I see this with Tyre and I seen them officers and how aggressive they was, it's really, really disturbing. It's greatly disturbing. And so, yes, those officers need to be made an example of, and I believe they will, because of number one, they're Black. That's why they've been dropped like a bad habit very quickly because of their skin tone. And it's just really something. So I want to see what this case is going to go. And all of that, and I just don't play no games. Like I watch a lot of I watch a lot of Minister Farrakhan videos, and so I'm very aware, very militant, and I'm very aware. Like a lot of my views, you'll be shocked when my views are. I don't share a lot of my political views, what I really believe in on YouTube. I don't share a lot of it because a lot of it will turn it all up. But I'm very militant, whatever they say. I'm really aware, and I've always tell people, don't get ready, be ready when they come. So and so when I'm very peaceful, but this is going to come a time where our people is going to continue to deal with this oppression, and we're going to have to wake up. Village. Yeah, okay. We're going to have to wake up, and not just wake up spiritually, emotionally, economically, and politically. We have to wake up and get into those spaces. And you cannot make policy to regulate a heart. So you're still going to have bad apples, but it's so much that we can do to stop this. Yes, it's so much that we can do as African American people, and we're not using our power enough. We have used it. We have the examples. Shout out to the 1619 Project. Like we have the example after the Reconstruction, and when white America just started snatching our power away, and Black folks was in very powerful positions after slavery. Research when slaves were free, and research how they was building towns, how they was building businesses, how they was running for this office and running for state representatives and all of that. And then white folks got threatened by that, all of that Black success, and they started to snatch that away. But we must regain that political power and regain it and use it to help our people. And we must call out Black, aggressive, Black on the outside, white on the inside. We must call them out and hold them to a higher standard because you're Black and you know better. And all of those 5 officers that did it, not only did you bring, like the mother said, you brought shame to yourself, you brought shame to your family, you brought shame to your mama. Everywhere that your family goes, that's the officer that was beating on Tyre. Like all of that shame. So of course y'all pictures need to go viral. Of course y'all need to be dragged. Of course y'all need to be in prison. I don't give a damn that you're Black. You were wrong. You abuse your power. So yes, all of those officers should be get life sentencing in prison. And if it was up to me, life sentencing, all of them. They need to spend the rest of their life in a padded room, locked up 23, 24 hours a day. Feed them 3 meals, because I know it's a constitutional that we can't be cruel and unusual person, but feed them 3 meals, but just for all the rest of your life, just in prison for the rest of your life. And just go through that. And it'll just be you and your thoughts. And for the rest of your life, just in a prison cell. All 5 of y'all. because y'all are wrong. Now, I do like the police chief, how she handled this situation. I give my sister that. She moved very quickly. She moved very quickly. I get it. I get it. I get it. I understand it. But sis, you got to do more, because it is a problem in that system, because I'm hearing that those police officers is like a special unit those police officers were a part of. And there's been complaints about how aggressive that unit was. And from my research, from my understanding, the news clips, they're saying that those other individuals didn't die. And so I speak to your Shane as, as their leader, because the buck starts with you and also the mayor. And I also believe there needs to be a total overhaul of that police department. The federal need to take over. I know they shut down the unit, but that total overhaul need to be a federal oversight over their entire unit, like over their entire police department. Like, I know they shut down the unit, but just because you shut down a unit, if you still got those bad apples, it definitely needs to be in there. And I've always preached, and this is when politics come in and policy come in. And y'all excuse me, because I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I never claimed to be the smartest, but I'm not the dumbest. This is where President Biden, you must come back to race. I know you try to avoid race, but you got to address race, because, and I know it's going to be difficult because there's nothing but Republicans in the House, but you must use your bully pulpit and say, guys, we must reintroduce the George Floyd Policing Accountability Act. We must address that. We must make it mandatory to have body cam footage. We must make it mandatory that you go to a psychiatric treatment after twice a year, go through a psychiatric treatment to make sure you're good. About twice a year. We must ensure all police officers that they must have insurance. If you're an insurance risk, you can't be a police officer, and stuff like that. So they must have a lot of rules in there, and they need to do a more thorough check to make sure that person is not racist, and to make sure that person do not have any racist biases, and make that part of their investigation when they are trying to recruit people to recruit, and also like that, and also tell these officers so they don't be just in the hood for the first time. It needs to be mandatory that you spend 20,000 community service hours in the community, and that's the community that you're going to service. 20,000 hours working in churches, working in homeless shelters, walking the streets, cleaning up, cleaning out graffiti. The city will pay for it, but 20,000 community service hours before you can even get a badge and walk the beat of this neighborhood. So the community need to know who you are. You can get to know who the community are, and you go through another psychiatric treatment, go through another review before you pass this 20 hours of community service. And the reason why I say community service, so you can get involved with the community, so you don't be quote unquote so afraid and they're so aggressive, so you will know, and that the community will know who these people are. Like 20,000 community service hours, and to get into that community. And then also you get involved with community leaders and church leaders and all of that. And then that's the community that you work for. And that should be for all new recruits. Even if you in the service, then you do another 10,000 community service hours in the community. You can have that same type of thing and need to be doing that. You cannot just get a badge and we just forget about you. And we don't give you any type of psychiatric treatment, any type of bias check, any type of lie detector test. It needs to be so strict, because you are holding you're supposed to serve and protect, and we have to make sure you're good. You know what I'm saying? We definitely need police reform. We definitely need police reform. We need to award good police officers, and we need to kick out bad police officers. Definitely that way. And it needs to be policy where the federal government can bypass the union and they can intervene to prosecute, fire an officer immediately if they feel like they have broken the law. They should not be protected under the union. I believe that if an officer does something to a bad in a bad place, did something to a person, the federal government should intervene to take over that police department, and then charge and remove that officer from the force immediately. They should have some type of federal power to intervene, because again, you can't always depend on the state, because sometimes they get it all sticky and crazy. Okay, on the county, it should be some type of oversight where the federal government could just come in and just wipe it away. And these are these type of reforms that I think need to happen. Now, would it eliminate this? No, not completely, but it would decrease a lot of this stuff that is going on. Absolutely. And then if you on the police force, you cannot drink or smoke alcohol or drink alcohol while you are on the force. Not 8 hours before your shift or 8 hours after. So you can't do that. So man, on your off day you can drink, but 8 hours or 12 hours before your shift, you cannot drink any alcohol. It needs to be strict policy, random drug tests, random alcohol tests, to see where's your alcohol levels and see where your drug levels at. That need to be mandatory. And that's where they naturally need to be. And so I will continue to bring awareness to this. And shout out to the sisters that, die at the hands of the police officers as well. Shout out to all the women that have been out here and been killed by the police officers. And this is not just exempt for Black men, but it's also Black women that have lost their lives by the hands of a police officer. So I'm definitely sending my prayers to the police, to the families, and also sending my prayers to those officers and their families, because they have to deal with the harassment, the embarrassment, and these are innocent people. They're children. I can just imagine what their children are going through because of what their father said, because it brings disdain to the family and pretty much typically destroy opportunities for their children. And it's really, really sad that, this mother, Tyre, have to bury her son. I don't know if Tyre had any children, but if he did have any children, it's really sad that brother have died at such a young age. I think I'm a little older than him, because I believe he was born 19 something, 19. Y'all know his age, but I'm a little older than him. And that could have been me. We look like we brothers. And so that is my brother in a sense. And so I just had to talk about, I didn't talk about it. Oh, they said no children. Okay. So they say he have any children. Thank you so very much. They say he has he was a father. He has a 4-year-old son. And so 4 years old, you're going to grow up and be without a father. And so we definitely need policy. And this is why on Monday, we're going to do a show, and we're going to be calling Capitol Hill. And I need a list. I'm going to call the Speaker of the House. I'm going to call him live. And we're going to call all like the Congressional Black Caucus, but mainly like the Republicans, because the Republicans are, pretty much in control of the House. So we have to apply pressure to the Republican caucus, and also the Congressional Black Caucus, and stuff like that. And so we're going to definitely do that on Monday. We're going to do a show, and we're just going to be calling Capitol Hill and getting some answers that what is they're doing to pass these laws. Because I think a lot of people feel like just because it's Republicans, that don't mean that we have to do anything. No, they still represent us. They still represent us. And so they owe us an answer of what they're going to do. So we are definitely going to do that. And thank you so very much for that. And we will continue to have these tough conversations in the show. And like I said, it was really rough for me to watch the video. It's really sad. you know, and he was a couple of doors down from his mother. And, you know, a couple of doors, he's not 19 years old. Y'all, let me start reading them comments. If he was born in 1993, he's not 19. I was born in 1990. I'm 3 years older than Tyre. Okay, do your research, honey, because some of y'all just be not aware. But I'm definitely praying, and I'm glad that Attorney Ben Crump is involved with the case. Number one, Ben Crump know about the media. Number one, he know how to stay on message. He was 29 years old. Thank you. And he's very aware to being on message. Okay. And I love that for that type of way. And I love that spirit. So he was like a couple of doors down from his mom, because I think they was like on some type of a corner, and his mom lived a couple of doors down for where his mom lived. And so I see that, and I will continue to speak truth to power, okay, about this case. I will not be joining the protest on tomorrow. Not until I'm just not going to join the protest on tomorrow. I was invited, but I'm not going. Tensions are high, and I know how this operate. The agitators going to be in the bushes. They're going to be there. They're going to cause confusion, and they're going to blame us. And I'm just not going. So I was invited, not doing that, not going in front of the police department to protest, anything like that. I think that protesting is good, but we need to rally and go to the Capitol Hill, and we need to rally and apply pressure to those people in Capitol Hill with the power. Yeah, protesting is great, but we need to protest with a strategic plan about what do we want from the protesting. I'm not going to be out there looting, because I need my grocery stores. I need my chicken. We about to have a snowstorm, I think, next week in Texas. Need that. I don't want to loot my clothes and burn up stuff, because I know my black brothers and sisters need to work. That just don't work. It just affects your community in the long run. And a lot of the businesses don't come back, which will affect you and affect you getting a job and all that type of stuff. So I'm not doing that. That don't make any sense. And if you just want to go and destroy stuff, I want to destroy stuff in my own neighborhood. I'm just saying, not in my neighborhood. If I just want to destroy something, why do it in your neighborhood? You need that CVS and that Save-A-Lot in that, grocery store. You need that KFC. You know you're gonna get hungry. You know you need 3 pieces of the biscuit. So why you blow? I'm just saying. And then the people with the power in their neighborhood is good. So if you big bold enough, if you want to send a message, why are you doing it in the hood? That ain't gonna send no message. You know you need, you want you 2 pieces dark at Popeyes, and it's in flames. Because you want to send a message. That ain't gonna send no message. If you really, really want to send a message, come to my podcast. I can't say it in the podcast, but come meet me offline, and we can have a conversation. If you really want to make a message, if you just want to make a message, I can tell you how you can make a message if you trying to make a statement. But your neighborhood, you need them stores, all right? Because we rarely got good stores in these low income areas. I'm fortunate enough to be in a income area where I'm like close with Plano, Carrollton, close with the money at. So I go up the street, go to Walmart, go here, go to Frisco. They got a nice mall here. I'm just fortunate enough to be around a lot of things with money. You know what I'm saying? Where I can go to, I have a lot of options. But if I'm in the south side of Chicago or South Dallas, my options are very limited. So I'm there have options where I can just get in my car and don't have to drive far to go get some good groceries, go get some fresh products and apples and oranges. I'm just fortunate enough to have that type of privilege. Yes, I'm very fortunate enough. So, but I am sending my condolences to the mother, to his son, to Tyrese's stepfather and all of his siblings and his family. I'm definitely sending that. I saw the video. I was greatly disturbed. Um, Policy needs to come into place, and they need to definitely do more. And this is why voting, and I say this, I can't stress this enough. Not only just voting, I'm talking to my kings and my queens to actually go and get into the political spectrum. Like that's something that I would do. I can see that, like senator, state representative, city councilman. I can see myself doing that. You know, and then just use my channel just to advocate the laws that I'm passing, you know, interview political leaders and all of that type of stuff on my show. Um, that's where my heart lies. I can see myself doing that. But even within that particular system, it's still a system and you need more backup. I would rather go in there with numbers, you know, to change it up. So yes, I definitely need to bring more people and let them know, like, you need to run for office, you need to be a city council person, you need to run for mayor, you need to run for county rep, you need to be run for this, you need to run for these things to get you in office. And that's why I'm trying my best to become a millionaire so I can fund candidates. And my sole purpose is to research candidates, study candidates, and get candidates to run for office, to become governors, because these are the powerful people do it. This is how they're powerful. They pay money and they pick their candidates. And then when they go to Capitol Hill, when they go in the state house, they represent their interests. So I want to do the same thing. But my thing is, my interest is police accountability, reparations, increasing the minimum wage. You know what I'm saying? Making business get making people to get funding for their business for African Americans and Black and brown businesses. Yeah, so that's what I want to do. So I can just meet with candidates and I fund candidates, fund campaigns, and their sole purpose is having an agenda. You already know when I'm sending you this $5 million to your campaign or some super PAC, you already know you must have this agenda. And then we get you some backup. Then we get more people in Capitol Hill. We get more people in the state. We get more people in the county government, local government. We get this get this person to become the sheriff in this house. That's how you change in this world, because this world, this is money and power, baby. You better know it. This is money and power. This world is about money and power. Have always been about it. Most of the developing countries that you can think of is about money, power. And unless you understand that and get that, you will always be left behind. Your mind must be on money and it must be on power. Always. Always. Even if you're working, always it happens, like money and power. You have to always think about that in this world. And to make a shift in this world. And that's why they try their best to that's why they try their best, to make sure that we don't vote. That's why they try their best to make these ID laws. That's why they try their best in Georgia to have folks not vote in this precinct and make them go vote 30 minutes down the line. This is why they make it difficult for people to vote, because they know Black people vote their conscience. They vote their interest. Black people, we're not, if we feel like you effing with us, we got your back. And we're very loyal. We are very loyal base. So that's why you get people that try to stop us from voting, because they know Black folks, they're very loyal base. And so I love that about us. We just need to continue to support our organizations that's put in the work. And then we need more change makers to get into the ring as well. And that's why it happens. And when you vote, not only that you vote, but you also continue to reach out to your senator, to your congressperson, to your state representative, to your mayor, and let them know who your name is. When you get on the phone, how you doing, Mr. Wiley? I love to hear that when I call Senator Ted Cruz. How you doing, Mr. Wiley? Well, I have this complaint about Ted Cruz. You know what I'm saying? What is he doing to make this legal in Texas? What laws is he? And I call, even though he don't even know who I am, but I say my name, I get on there and I talk. And so that's what I do. And so I'm going to show y'all what I do when I'm not on YouTube. I be on that phone. I remember one time I was so upset that they were kicking off homeless people off the train because they had their money. And I kept calling, like, and I'm saying, like, you know, why don't y'all have more 24/7 shelters? And, you know, and I was inquiring about that because I just didn't like that they were kicking people off the buses and the train. And so I made sure I called, and I just kept calling shelters. I'm like, what is y'all qualifications? What do they have to qualify for? What about the black men? What if they don't have children? How many 24 hours, 24/7 shelters exist? Why do y'all have them just sheltered at night and don't have them sheltered forever? Where's their billions of dollars surpluses going? Where's the governor's number? How much money is in the budget to actually help homelessness in Texas? Because we had we got a couple of billions in a surplus, meaning we just got money stacked in the bank. So what are y'all doing to help homelessness? So I made sure that what are y'all doing for affordable housing for people that don't want to live in the shelter? Like, I ask these type of questions, and I said, break it down to me like I'm a first grader. Don't give me all that big words, but break it down so I can bring it back to my audience that don't speak all this political genre, and that we can definitely go ahead on and get, you know what I'm saying, break it down like I'm in the first grade. And so I was on the phone, I'm having these conversations and all of this type of stuff. And I said, you know, we have to do better as a society, where as drug treatment, mental health services, all type of services. We need to do better to beautify our city and to invest those resources in city and local government. But I want to say this in my last point that I want to make when it comes to Tyre. His death will not be in vain. I'm aware of it. I just didn't want to look at it because I get agitated, I get upset, because he's a beautiful brother. No telling where his life would have been in the next 10 years, no one to tell what type of leader he would have become. And to see him lose his life in his 30s is greatly disturbing. And so I'm going to continue to speak up for myself, for my community. And so I love that. I'm going to continue to speak up for my community. And so when I looked at it, I said, okay, what can I do? And I'm going to do more for my show, like getting a press pass and get cameras and work with freelance reporters that are used to covering protests. We can have boots on the ground and actually give y'all a front row seat of the things that are going on in America. And do more of that. And so I've been debating on doing that. And so I'm going to see how much that costs and all of that, you know, get cameras to document, you know, this movement, and to document what's going on, and not only just document the protests, but then also showing me going to these officers, you know, going to the police officer, going to the police union, talking to the city council, and then actually going to Capitol Hill and wearing my suit, meeting with senators and Congress people, and then reporting back to my people what's going on. And then next time I come, I bring 10 people, next time 20 people, next time 30 people, next time 40 people, next time 50 people, next time 100 people, and to get into those type of fields and to really, really network. And so right now, it's one organization. I'm not going to say the name yet because I got to be careful saying names. Because of who I am, I went to this event one time, but before I join and say I'm a part of that, I'm gonna do more of my homework. Because once you put stuff out there, so I'm gonna do more of my homework. It's an activist group that does work in Dallas, and so I'm gonna do more of my homework to see if they actually doing the work before I join and give my money and my time and my resources. So before I actually make that announcement, I'm gonna do a little bit more homework on them before I make that announcement, because I'm just not gonna join something just to be a part of something. It gotta make sense for my brand, for my career, and for my mental health. But again, I will keep Tyre's family in my prayers, and I also will pray for the officers' families. I pray for the prosecutor, that I pray that the jury found all of officers guilty, and I also pray for the protection of those officers' family, especially those, I believe those officers got children and stuff like that. And so praying for their mental health, that they have to see their father, probably going to spend the rest of their life in prison. And then they have to deal with, kids are cruel. They have a phone and they have to hear all that stuff about their dad, about what their dad did to Tyre. So, and I'm definitely praying for Tyre's 4-year-old son, because again, seeing his father, once he get old enough to understand what happened, and that he doesn't fall on the bad side, and everything that goes well. So we will continue to continue to talk about this, and we will continue to discuss this. And I've always talked about it, because when people come in my chat, when they talk about, well, Wiley, what about black on black crime? I get that. I'm a big advocate for crime, for a big advocate to stopping crime. And I felt like, these leaders have not done enough. We haven't had a bold mayor, activist type of mayor in years. I'm talking about a bold mayor that's going to make a bold decision and say, we're going to put resources in this community. Whatever this budget is, we're going to slash some of this money for cops. Okay? And they ain't going to like this type of teaching. We're going to invest in mental health. We're going to invest in community centers. We're going to invest in development. We're going to put pressure on the banks and say, listen, guys, you're doing business with the city of Dallas and the city of Chicago and all these major cities, and we got all our money in y'all bank. Y'all need to be investing in these communities. And if y'all can't do that, we're going to pull our money out this bank and go give it to another bank that's willing to do business on the South, on these undeveloped communities. And watch how quick those banks, oh, yes, Mr. Wiley, I understand. We're going to invest $300 million, $500 million in this community. Oh, we're going to help the people on their credit to become homeowners. Oh, we're going to invest this. We need a bold type of mayor. And I always tell people, y'all spending billions on a police budget that have not worked. Like, I will understand that we spending billions and the crime is low. And I'm going to say, okay, this is actually working. But we're putting billions of dollars into a police department and the crime is still high. Crime is extremely high. Billions? So why don't we just take $1 billion and put it in free education, educating the people in the hood, working on their credit, investing in their business, have community people walking the streets, networking, investing in grocery stores, investing in more weekend hours and more hours like 9 and 10 o'clock, community centers, and all of that, because we gave y'all billions and it have not worked. I'm not saying it completely erase and abolish the police department. I'm not preaching that. When you say take $1 billion or $2 billion away, they can afford to take $1 billion or $2 billion away, and to put it into the community, because the community have been neglected, because the core issue of it is poverty. So we must tackle this poverty issue. We must tackle poorness, brokenness, because you have a community that have been slow growth, no type of development. So this is a national emergency. So the strategy of these black mayors, and I got to speak for my black mayors, because a lot of them get in office and they get real weak and cowardly. You got to be willing to put your life on the line for your people, or don't stand up to be the mayor, the governor, or anything else in this country if you're not willing to put your life on the line for your people, then you don't need to be a leader. You don't need to be a political leader. You don't need to do any of that because you're not ready to put your life on the line and to sacrifice and to speak truth to power. If you're not willing to speak truth to power and to put your life on the line and to call out these banks to put more resources in these underserved communities, then don't try to go out and try to become the mayor or the governor or the state rep. We must tackle this poverty, poor, being broke, because that's the key of a lot of this crime. A lot of people ain't got none. They poor, they broke. And they think, let me just carjack, make a couple of dollars. So let's tackle this. Let's study, why is people carjacking? Why is people robbing? The answers is there. It's just they don't want to address that because most of these leaders, they know what to do. They don't want to do it. And secondly, they know that only thing we can say is to continue to distract the community with entertainment, reality shows, football games, and all of that. But I'm going to tell you again, and this is for Lori Lightfoot, for Jamal Green, for the mayor here in Texas, in Dallas, the mayor in Houston, they're dealing with this. Y'all must have, what is your plan to tackle poor, broke constituents? What is your plan for that? I know you say you want to bring more officers to the street, but what does it profit you to bring more officers to patrol poor people that need opportunity, that our schools are failing? What does it profit you to put billions in a police force and not billions in your education infrastructure, not billions in your job training resource, not billions in your real estate plan to help the residents to become homeowners, that in return make them become taxpayers, that in return bring more revenue to fund all these other programs? But what does it profit to have a police officer in the hood? Of course they're going to smoke. Of course they're going to be in gangs. Of course they're going to be doing all of these type of things. Of course, you're broke. You're poor. And most things, not every poor person going to join a gang, but it's just take a couple of bad apples to bring down the community. So when I look at good, affluent areas, they got money. They have interest. They have something to work for. They got something to live for. But you have to have that mindset, okay, we need to have a mentor program, and the city going to fund this, taxpayers going to fund this, we're going to mentor 50,000 young people on the Southwest in these poor, underserved communities. And not only that, we're going to invest 50,000. We're going to mentor these people. We're going to teach them about credit, teach them about money, teach them about job training. So we're going to get them when they first come out the mother's womb, when they're in the first grade. We're going to train them, teach about credit, money, power, politics, real estate. So by the time they get a teenager, they're going to be so aware of how to be change makers in their community. They're not going to think about being in the gang, because being in the gang is small-minded. Because I done gave you the gang on Wall Street. I done gave you the gang on a political structure. I done gave you the gang on the tech industry. So you're not even going to think about joining a gang, because your awareness and your skill set of learning trade, of learning all of this, you're making good money. So you're not even going to think about joining a gang, because it's a very corrupt system. And I get that. And that's why we have to have amazing change leaders in office. And a lot of these people, they're not willing to have these tough conversations. And I push these politicians. I mean, like, y'all got to preach, that message, an economic message, because it's not just fighting crime. You cannot fight crime without an economic message. You got to have an economic agenda, because if you don't have an economic agenda intertwined with public safety, it ain't going to work. Public safety is attached to an economic agenda. It will be no public safety if you broke, poor, can't get an apartment, can't feed your family. It's going to always be a public safety risk. So when you have that public safety conversation, you must join that with an economic message. What is your economic message for poor people in America? And that's for poor people, period. So if you're not having an economic message, then you can keep me with all that public safety crap because it ain't gonna work. You get 45,000 police officers and you still gonna have high crime. You got to have a serious economic message with public safety. So whenever they talk about public safety, what is your economic message? What is your agenda? So when I look at Lori Lightfoot, I've seen some of the good things that she did, and I've seen some of the crap things that she did. She talked a good talk, and I thought she was going to be come through. She didn't come through, so she needs to be a one-term mayor because she didn't really tackle an economic message where the crime is just going through the roof, and now the crime is spreading all through the city. She's a terrible mayor because her economic agenda for these underserved communities was the same type of messages from her predecessor. So, of course, she needs to be a one-term mayor. Of course. Absolutely. Had a terrible I didn't see no growth. I judged the mayor by the success of the hood. I'm going to say it again. I judge the success of the mayor by the upkeep and the upgrades of the so-called ghettos of America. If I still see the hood, when you in that, you're a terrible mayor. Don't get me where I'm bringing a casino. What have you brought life to the hood with people that are struggling and been struggling for decades? So if I don't see more affordable housing, if I don't see job training, if I don't see free college to help those in underserved communities with a limited income, if I don't see that, and then 4 years later, I don't see any type of shift, then you need to be a one-term mayor. I need to see you come through making strides the first day you get sworn into office. Automatically, press conference, your agenda, meeting with all the banks that the city got their money in, their assets in, and to call them banks out. And if them banks ain't willing to do business with these black and brown communities, then you as the mayor tell your treasurer, tell your city council people that we need to take our money out of those banks and deal with banks that are willing to do business in the south and west side of these areas. And I'm saying that because I know about a lot of typically the hoods are in the southwest side and all of that. And so that's what we need. What is your economic message? I get that with public safety, police officers, I get that. But you need an economic message. Okay? And I know change don't happen overnight, but change, you can do a better job when you become mayor and when you become governor. That's like, I'm not so happy. I'm not going to be, oh my gosh, we got the first black governor in Maryland. I'm so happy. Oh, he's going to be so great. Oprah spoke for him. I don't give a damn what Oprah said. I'm going to judge that governor. Y'all know his name. What is his economic message for the poor people in his state? What about the hospitals in the rural areas of Maryland that's going to be shut down? What is that governor going to do to bring back them hospitals? Is that governor going to expand Medicaid so they can get federal dollars, so more hospitals? So I'm just not excited because I see a black family on the stage. I was like that for Obama. I'm a grown man right there. So what is Westmore going to do for the poor and black people and poor whites as well? Because you're poor in the state of Maryland. So I'm just not excited because he's the first black mayor of Maryland. I get that. Oh, congratulations. Okay, bruh, what's your economic agenda? And let me see you do it. And within 100 days, your agenda should be already making some strides. Okay? What are you telling the banks in Maryland, in the state of Maryland, how to do business and how to help those that are underrated and that's not getting the assistance like that? So I'm gonna watch Westmore because I see Oprah was talking about him and how good he was and how he's an amazing author. I get all that, but that don't mean nothing if you a black man that look good and you're not willing to do and have an economic plan for the poor and black people in America, in your state, for poor people, period. Now, that's include everybody. When you poor, black, white, Mexican, poor people, period. So I'm within your first 100 days, you should have a meeting with the banks, with the Chamber of Commerce, with all of those people about your economic plan. So, and within the first 100 days, because they better not give me no power. I got the power. I got the juice. You mean to tell me I got the juice now? I got the power. I'm not waiting no 6 months. The first day, immediate directions coming from the governors. Don't let Governor Wiley get elected. Mr. Governor, I said, this is my plan. This is my agenda. Y'all work for me. We're going to have an agenda. Bring all the banks that we do business. I want a meeting with them today. And they ain't leaving here till they show me what are they doing for the poor people in this state. So I immediately, day one, after inauguration ball, after I've danced with my wife or whomever I'm dancing with, you know what I'm saying? And we take our pictures, all that. We meet with the banks. We meet with all the political leaders, Republicans and Democrats. What is the economic agenda? And I'm going to tell you what my economic agenda is. And I'm going to make sure that my chief of staff makes sure my policy is implemented. And I visit the hood and I do a press conference and I let the people know, bring in the grocery store, bring in the hospitals, bringing money from the federal government and distribute it to the underserved communities. Absolutely. Working with businesses to attract more jobs to the state, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I have to say all this because, again, I have to talk like this. This is what I love to talk about. I can talk about this forever. You know what I'm saying? And so we will continue to do that. So we will continue to do that. And so that's what we're going to continue to do. So we will see how Westmore going to do, because I'm going to judge it by the poorness in Maryland. I'm going to judge it by that because it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to be, oh my gosh, he a black governor. We did that with Obama. Oh my gosh, he was a black first family. And then we forgot to get something off the table because we still at the inauguration ball eating chicken. We still at the inauguration ball eating chicken. Everybody gets something off the deal. We still up there with our flag, change gonna come, eating fried chicken. Everybody getting something off their agenda, and we still up there happy eating our fried chicken because we happy because we got a black man in the White House eating chicken, doing the electric side. And everybody getting something off the agenda. Everybody getting a piece of the pie. We still eating our chicken. Okay? So, also black family, all right. I couldn't believe it. Eat chicken. So, thank you. So we will definitely send our prayers to Tyre's family. All right. I just had to it definitely deserving that. And we're going to talk about more cases like that. Again, excuse me, I just have to go through it to see like the video and the stuff, and I said, okay, I can talk about it. Because, like I said, people were sending it to me, and I said, "Oh, I can't ignore it." When people start sending it to them, it's like people close to me send me stuff. I said, "Oh, Wiley, you owe it to your people to talk about it." So, thank you. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the nursing crisis of scam that happened. So, apparently, and I'm not surprised, some nurses, a lot of nurses have been paying like 15,000 or 20,000 to get fake nursing credentials to go take the nurses test, the board test, and they pass the test, and they're working in hospitals and nursing homes, and that they paid the money to become nurses. Okay. I'm not shocked. I've always noticed, I've worked with a lot of sorry ass nurses. And I said, how the fuck did you get your nurse's license? I've seen one nurse didn't even know how to put an IV. I've seen one nurse didn't even know how to put on a blood pressure cuff. I've seen one nurse didn't even know how to take oxygen. I've seen one nurse try to Google how to put a colostomy bag on. I'm like, how the fuck did you become a nurse? And I said, a lot of these motherfuckers are paying to become nurses. Like, they somebody paying them to take that. How the fuck they become a nurse? I thought it was hard and strenuous and stuff like that. Everything they have to Google. Siri. What's the name of this medication? Siri. How long what's the diabetic and all? How much sugar can diabetic? Siri. What is the CCs and the BBs that go? I'm like, girl, how did you become a nurse? And they're the most sorriest thing ever. I work with some good nurses, and I work with some sorry ass nurses. LPNs, RNs, BSN, whatever you can call them. Some sorry ass nurses. And I don't know how the fuck they passed their nurses. They couldn't speak no good English. Okay? Because if you can't speak it, I know you can't read it. So I don't know how they became nurses. I worked with LPNs, RNs, all the, and sorry. Okay? So it does not surprise me that you have some nurses that are paying for their nursing license. Yeah, I mean, it surprised me that they're doing that. It's wrong because imagine you in the hospital and you in a trauma unit and a nurse that's taking care of you, they paid for their license. They just passing by. The only thing they know how to do, they don't even know how to do that well, is pass out meds if they know how to do that. And they don't know none of the answers that you're going through. And they working at the hospital to take care of your mama or taking care of you. You know what I'm saying? So this issue have always been an issue for decades. It's just Florida people, they just caught on to the scam, but this scam is nationwide. And it's just ain't being talked about like that. And if they fire all the nurses that ain't paid, have somebody take their test for them, it'll be really a nurses shortage. We are already dealing with a nurses shortage. So this have always been a crisis, especially in a lot of nursing homes. Child, how did you become a nurse? All right. So, and I already know a lot of them African nurses, especially from Nigeria. I've been a nurse. I've been in the country for about 4 years. I'm a nurse, and I took the test, and I just don't know about this. And I'm going to have to Google it. And then they had to get other nurses. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to do CPR. I'm like, how did you get your nurses? Your nurses license? I just don't know. I just don't even know. I don't know how to do it. I'm going to have to get in some type of help to do that. How did you get the nurse's license? You didn't learn this in nursing school? Where they do that at? And so, no, I'm not going to try to buy my license. If I'm not going to nursing school to get my license that way, I'm not going to buy it. I didn't buy my CNA license. I went to CNA school. I passed with flying colors. I passed flying colors. Went to nursing school, passed for flying colors. Took my state board, passed for flying colors. I did my homework, did my reading, and I learned how to do all that type of stuff. Okay, all right. So I did all of that. All right, but I'm not gonna have. If I want to go to nursing school, I'm gonna go to class because I love that type of stuff. Going to nursing school, learning about medicines, learning about the human body, learning about the diagnosis, and learning about the admits, learning about the change of condition. I would love that. I just don't want to do it now because I'm so busy doing my show. Because if I were to do nursing school, that take a lot of my, time because you got to read, you got to learn the different medicines, you got to learn the different names, what that medicine do, if this person is a diabetic, what if they cold, what if this is this, what if they got a wound, like it's just like you got to know a lot of things. And so I'm not, it's a very challenging thing to be a nurse, and you go through a lot of challenges to become a nurse. You go through a long, lengthy process to become a nurse, and you do all of that type of stuff. I get that. I understand that. I went to CNA. CNA is not as strong as nursing. Nursing is very, very strong, very in depth. I just didn't want to do it because number one, I don't want to be working for no 12 hours. Number one, I never want to do a 12-hour job. That's dead to me. I don't want to do it 8 hours, baby. That's what you're gonna get. Not no 12, no 7 to 7, no 6 to 6. God want me to work on 8 hours and go to remember. I ain't doing no 12 hours. I did 12 hours one time and it didn't last that long. I don't do no 12 hours. I do 8 hours. All right. And I see a lot of nurse home on CNAs to work 12 hours. Not going for it. But I believe nursing school should be free. Now, if they pay me to go to nursing school, it's for free, and pay me for like giving me a stipend for my food and rent costs, of course I'll go and do nursing. It's free. Absolutely. I earn my RN, BSN. Honestly, I don't let anybody take away my hard work and my knowledge I have. I work 12 hours. Yeah, of course. If they pay me to go to nurse school for free, and if the opportunity presents itself, if I get a phone call and they say, hey, Wiley, I will pay for you to go to nursing school for free, give you a stipend to make sure your rent is paid and all that type of stuff that go to school, I will go. Absolutely. Keep your grades good. I would definitely go. You have to be for free. Of course I would go. Absolutely. Absolutely, I would go and do nurse. I've been in the field forever. So of course I would do it to be a nurse. Absolutely. I don't know if I'd be doing it long term because I like to entertain people. I love to entertain people. I love it. I love to entertain people. And I love it. I love to entertain people. And so that's like my passion. Like nursing is just not my passion. I just never my passion. Nurse have never been my passion. Like I did it because it was a paycheck. I love doing it. Don't get me wrong, but once I've gotten to get now, I know that you get paid to talk to people. I'm like, okay, yes, I'm in that. I'm in the homes. Like you get paid to talk to people. I was like, okay. So I love it. I'm in my purpose. But if I ever had to go back and go to nursing school to get a nurse's check, absolutely I would do it. Absolutely. Yeah. Like I have like about a couple of classes to finish up for my associate for criminal justice. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. And the only reason why I'm gonna finish is just so my family can see me walk across the stage and become a college graduate. I don't know if I'm gonna do something in that in criminal justice. I just don't know. Because I like to entertain, but I love to have a degree to fall back on. But so I'm gonna take these last 6 classes and get my associate in criminal justice just to have my degree, so that I can walk across the street. Doom, 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 doom. Marquise Wiley. I know how to hear it again. I like to go. Da, 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 da. I got my degree. So yeah, I was just doing that to be smile and take a picture with my family. Hey, got my degree. just for that purpose, I got a degree, you know. And I like criminal justice. My grades are good. Like, I got to go back in about a month or two. My grades are good. I get like straight like A's and B's because I love criminal justice. Like, I know how to read the case or read whatever. I look at the directions of what the professor is giving me. I'm really good in criminal justice. I love it. You know, I just don't know if I'm going to be um yeah, now I don't know if I'm going. How can I say this? That's a very corrupt system. And so I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish. So I'm just going to do it. I would love to be a probation officer, you know, because I seen what my probation officer did. Man, that man, all he did was being in the office. So I could do that, do paperwork, call on my pro leads and probation, whatever people, and do that. And so I would love that. And so I love being in school because it taught me different things like that. So you know, I love that. And so I'm definitely gonna go back. Like I said, I think she told me I got 7 classes, probably more. I think I'll finish another class. So it's probably 6. And I will let y'all know. And so I will have my CNA and I'll have my associate in criminal justice. Um, and so I'm gonna finish on my degree. And so now I'm more mature, and then now I can use that for my show. And I love that. I love that about my show. So I love that about my show that I can be very involved into what's going on, current events, and knowing all that type of stuff and all of that. And so yes, I'm gonna finish up my degree. I promised my mom that I was going to finish up and to have a degree. So I will be my first person in my immediate family to graduate. I think I'm the only person in my immediate family that graduated from high school. Yeah. And I remember my father, my stepfather, he said, Marquise, I said, yes. He said, wow, you're my only child that graduated from high school. None of your other siblings and I didn't even think of it. None of them graduated from high school. Like I graduated, and the reason why I graduated from high school is because my grandmother made sure I graduated. She made sure I went to school. She made sure that I had car fare. If she didn't take me to school, she made sure I had a breakfast. She would get up early. She would iron my clothes. And someday I didn't even want to go to school. Like she made sure she would call my uncle, and I'll have to go to school. And I went, and I would tell you to my grandma Dora, my junior year in high school was one of my junior and my senior year was the best years of my high school year. My junior and senior year, because that's when I was in debate team, and I think my sophomore year I did a show called Know Your Heritage. So shout out to Mr. Evans, may he rest in peace. He passed about a year or two ago. I love that man. That man came into my life, tall, dark-skinned man, looked just like he could have been my father, big feet, professional, and he gave me a great guy. And I will never forget John D. Evans. I will never forget that man. He was a poet, a writer. He was my special ed teacher. He was my division teacher. He was a good. He left a good impact on my life. So thank you, John D. Evans. Okay. All right. Thank you. And because of Mr. John D. Evans, we call him Mr. Evans, he created the debate team, and he had brought somebody from the University of Chicago to teach us how to debate. He was a small white kid, and I forgot the man's name, can't think of his name. And he would bring him, and he would go in the hood, and he would have his book bag, and I used to watch him thoroughly. And that man, every time I used to see that man, I forgot his name. He's from the University of Chicago. Every day he's reading. He's very quiet. He'd be reading every time. I'm like, man, what do you read? I don't even know what he would read. Yeah, I'm reading this. And we would have conversations and we would read. And man, I would get up on that debate stage and get up there, and I won speaker awards. It was lit. I love it on the debate team. I just love being on the debate team. It was so freaking fun being on the debate team. I loved it. I love being on. I remember when we was on Know Your Heritage. If I could ever find them tapes, once I get famous, I can find those tapes. I'm not famous enough. But Know Your Heritage was a show that it was about your Black history. And you were real, and we was going against Whitney Young, we was going against Hyde Park, we was going against all the high school, and that show was on television. And I just missed that show. Like, bring that show back. Bring that show back. I was on television. So I forgot the network. I think it came on Channel 9, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all remember that show? It is called Know Your Inheritance. And it was this big book that we had to read and study. And we was winning a couple of rounds, and I kind of like lost a round. And I said, and the answer, I just remember the answer that I gave. And I said Florida. They said Florida. And then my teammates were crying. And yeah, I think it was on WGN. That was Channel 9. Yeah, so I was on Know Your Heritage, Chicago Military Academy, Bronzeville. That was the school that I attended. Chicago Military Academy, Bronzeville, on 35th and Giles. I attended that high school for 4 years. I graduated. And I was on Know Your Heritage. And I just would love to pull that tape. So, and so that was because of Mr. Evans. And he made sure we got into a taxi. He made sure we got on the train to get there. We did a great. We actually had a great time of doing the show. And I love that. We actually had a great, awesome time. I was the first person in my immediate family to graduate from high school. I'm also the first one to get a college degree, the double master. My sister followed behind. Now my niece is in college. I love that. So, I'm going to college. I'm finishing my degree so I can tell my nieces I went to college. But I'm also telling my nieces and nephews that it's other ways to make money other than going to college. No telling what social media site going to be developed by the time my niece is 18, 19 years old. It's probably going to be other sites out there. Of course it is. And so I'm always going to teach my nieces and nephews that is other ways to make money other than going to college. You can sell insurance. You could become a real estate agent. So you don't have to necessarily go to get a 4-year degree. You can go to nursing school. You can learn a trade. You can become a plumber. It's other things that you can do. You can have a transportation service. So it's other things that you could do if you don't want to go to college. So, because it's an outdated thing that people say, go to college, get a degree. Yes, that's one way to success, but that's not the only way to success. Okay? All right. I just want to tell you that right in there, and breaking those generational curses. Like, that's one way to go to college. But me, once I make money, I'm going to put all this in the trust fund for my nieces and nephews. Either they go to college or they open up their own business, and they have the option, if they have a good career, and help them with a down payment of their dream home. So you give them a boost. All right. Okay. All right. So let's get to the Larry Reid. Oh, we was going to talk about this other subject, but I'm going to leave that to another video. There's 2 other subjects I want to dive into. I'm going to get to Larry Reid. Because I didn't research it. I just took the picture, and I'm not even going to put that man picture up here because I didn't research it. I did. So I'm not going to do it. Give me a second here. All right. So Larry Reid, you guys listen. I've been covering this Larry Reid content. My producers and I, we have been covering this high viewership. I am on this Larry Reid train. And Tasha K released all clip of part 2 of the interview. We covered the mother. We covered part 1 of Levantre. And so Larry Reid been on this press tour. Okay. Larry Reid been on this press tour, and he got Sharrell's World involved, and he also got Conscious involved on Sharrell's World. So he went on Sharrell's World, and I knew her platform doesn't really have that impact because she don't have a church audience. I was reading the comments, they were dragging Larry Reid, so it's not helping. And the thing about it with Larry, he's bringing Conscious to be his mouthpiece, but Conscious is compromised because he's been bought and paid for. All right? He's been bought. So him in trying to produce receipts don't mean a hill of beans, because the interview is between Sharrell's world. So bringing Conscious doesn't make any sense, because, and I have to say his name very direct, because that's the employee of Larry Reid. Because I'm not like Larry and Conscious. They're very weak men. And I used to look up to Larry, but Larry, you're weak. And let me tell you why you're weak, sir, because you don't want to say my name. That's very weak of you, sir, and you funding Conscious. You paying for his wig, you paying for the studio, you paying for his lights, you paying for his house, you paying for his condoms, you paying for the lube, you paying for him to get manicured, you paying for him to put spells and everything on it. You paying for all that, and you can't summon it. You're very weak, sir. You're weak. And you talked about me in Sharrell's world with the whole thing, the text message. You're very weak, because what you did that was messy, sir. I'm talking to you, Larry. You could let your attorneys, let them screen record this. They could put this in a complaint. I give them permission to do so. When Tasha K sent me the text message that you sent Tasha, you're messy. See, this is the thing that y'all not going to call Larry on his messiness. You sent Tasha K text message knowing that Tasha K had a lawsuit with Cardi B. But you sent a text message from Armon and say, oh, I'm going to send this to Tasha. Is it okay? Because you're popular than Jason Lee. You're more funny than... You're doing that because you're messy. You're a messy pastor. And you sent the message to Tasha. Tasha sent it to me, and I put it out there. Because you started it by going to Armon and say, I want to send it to Tasha. Why do you want it? Why do you need to send that to Tasha? That was a conversation between Armon and Larry Reid. Tasha didn't have to know nothing about that conversation, but you involved Tasha because you like the messiness. So for you to say that you didn't know that Tasha K operated like that, Tasha K, that lawsuit with Cardi B, you knew her wicked ways. You indulged with her wicked ways because it benefited you, because y'all was able to tackle the church messiness, the church scene. So don't get on there with Sharrell's world with the dusty wig and to pretend like you don't know the behavior of Tasha, because Tasha have already had her behavior. You claim that Tasha knew about your lawsuits with Levante and everybody else that's been accusing you. I think it's about 3 of them that accuse you by now. But you ignored that behavior. And now you want sympathy from Wiley. You want sympathy from my followers. You want sympathy from BET to not drop you like a bad habit, which they should. So tag BET. We're going to be making some phone calls on Monday and emailing. Because one thing I learned about Miss Goldstein, she said, baby, always write to these people. When you write, that's more powerful. Write letters. All right? That's one thing about my people that we know how to do. We know how to apply pressure. Because I always ask her, why do you always get people to get deals shut down? Because she said, baby, we know how to move behind the scenes and write letters and use our power and our influence. All right? So Miss Goldstein used to give me the tea on how her people roll. I said, I like that. I said, Miss Goldstein, I know you don't like no cussing in your house, but I fucks with you. Thank you. Because I'm going to take that idea and be like, we got to use our motherfucking power as well. She said, I fuck with you too, bro. You know, in her old frail way. But you got Sharrell's world out there. I got the evidence. I got the paperwork. Yeah. I wish I had a wig to pretend like I'm her. I'm sitting here right now with the paperwork, and I see right here with you, Tasha, and I want all the facts. I want all the facts. This woman with the dusty wig, Conscious wanted to give her a binder with all the facts. She said, no, I don't want to read the facts. I just want to interview. So how you supposed to be this journalist and you're not reading the binder of receipts? You just want them for a show. Okay? So they having a conversation, and then Larry was talking about the receipt and that she apologized for. You knew her behavior. And no, I don't apologize for putting the receipt out. No, I absolutely don't apologize. It was content. It came across my desk. I have no loyalty to no Tasha K. I have no loyalty to no Larry Reid. My loyalty is to my audience. It come across my desk. I'm going to talk about it. But Larry Reid should never sent Tasha K nothing about Jason Lee. That Jason Lee is more talented. No, Armon is more talented than Jason. You're being messy. Oh, is it okay that I send it to Tasha? And Tasha sent it to me. Soon as when Larry sent it to Tasha, Tasha sent it to me, and an hour later, I was live. And I don't regret it. I got the clicks and views, and I'll do it again. Okay? So she's on here with this lady with a dusty wig, and maybe she needs to give some money to her. And then she was like, did I pay you to do this interview? Yes, ma'am, you've been paid. He been super chatting you forever. You've been bought and paid for. You ain't putting in them wigs. Your husband ain't putting no bass in his voice. Okay? You using pictures that you used to look like 10 years ago. Is I'm on your payroll? Is I'm on your payroll? Yes, he super chatted you with the church's money, with the LRL Patreon, because the bulk of his salary comes from the LRL Patreon. So of course you on his payroll. And so is the guy up there that's covering up that right eye of his, trying to look like Aaliyah. He been bought and paid for. And he interrupted it. I'm sorry, Sharrell. I'm going to have to screen share. Hold on, Sharrell. I'm going to have to screen share and show you some receipts. How I interrupted the interview, interrupted the vibe, because he wanted to. We already seen the receipts. A lot of folks still think Larry Reid is guilty. We see all the receipts. A lot of people still believe Dr. Larry Reid fondled with Levandre. So you can play the receipts until your fingers freeze in blue ink. Some people still believe that Larry Reid told Levandre to nut if you buck in his drawers, in his bread basket, in the nude. So people still believe that you're guilty. And then he said, well, my house wasn't built at my house wasn't built at that time. It wasn't built at that time. Okay, well, sue him. And that police report based in lies. And then he said, well, we trying to get the document. Well, get the documents. You've been having these allegations for years. And Sharrell, you're supposed to be a journalist with that dusty wig. You need to switch out wigs with conscience. How is it as a black woman? Let me speak to your shame. Give me 1 second, sister, because I know you're going to sue me. So when you sue me, I'm going to just make it count and everything like that. So you can put it all in your complaint, write it on your piece of paper, and go live in front of that 1994 computer that you got. How is it you as a black woman allow a whole dude show up and his lace front is flawless and your hair is dusty? It's looking like you was rolling around in some hay. Fuzzy, dusty, weird looking. And you got a whole dude up there. All is pressed and it's covering up his right eye. You might as well sing Rock the Boat. You might as well get up there and sing Rock the Boat. How is that? You a whole woman looking that dusty. And see Larry Reid, and this is going on, and yeah, Larry, and I've seen about the ages and all that, and these are all lies. Larry Reid up there with his microphone. These are all lies. These people tell a lie. The mama liar. She evangelist and ain't got no power. She was a leader. Levandre, he a liar. He was with Sir Marco and Tasha K. She lied, but you was friends with Tasha K. Tasha K gave you her lawyer attorney, her lawyer number. So now she all these liars and demons and wicked. But was she that when you was friends with her, when you was texting her some tea about Jason Lee and Armon Wiggins? Levontre testified that you touched that young brother when he was butt naked, no clothes on. And I don't know if they played that song, throw that ass in a circle. I don't know. Because I don't know what was the music at that time. Because at that time, when he was 15, 14, 15, I think we were born the same age. I was up there in debate team. So I wasn't in no room butt naked, throwing it in no circle for no preacher. I didn't start doing that till I got a little bit older. I was a little wild. And I was dealing with some grown men. I have at a young age, but they weren't no preacher. I didn't start dealing with a preacher when I was like 18, 19 years old. But I was young on the party line with grown men and everything like that. Anyway, all right, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But to Larry Reid to get up there and do that interview with his publicist, one was covering up his eye, and Sharrell didn't ask him not one tough question because she'd been bought and paid for it. And then you get Conscious interrupt the interview again. Yeah, these YouTubers, they don't do their homework. They don't read court documents. I read the court documents. Larry dropped the case. Larry still haven't refiled the case. He still haven't sued Tasha. He ain't suing Bishop Whitehead because he say Bishop Whitehead ain't gonna be here long. He ain't gonna be out here long like that. Alluding to that he gonna be locked up by the feds, but he can still be sued in civil court. He haven't sued Tasha. He haven't sued Levontre. He haven't sued Levontre mother. None of these people. Only thing he producing is receipts that he been producing for years. When you gonna sue, sir? And then I heard that he was gonna sue Wiley. Somebody told me that. A source told me this. That Wiley, he's gonna sue. And I said, bring it. I'm gonna represent myself. There's gonna be some good content. I'm gonna make sure because he's gonna try to do a gag order. I'm gonna say, Your Honor, media is my job to cover these tough stories. Media and stuff like that. We're gonna represent. Sir, do you want to go into mediation? No, sir, Your Honor. I don't want to do any. If we do mediation, I'm gonna say until you admit and all that type of stuff and all that. I'm not doing no mediation. We go this to trial and we just go as long as your money. And then you got to sue Tasha. That's gonna take you another $800,000, $900,000, $1 million. Then you got to sue Wiley. Then you got to go all the way sue him in Texas and go to trial. First, you got to serve me and fire me. I'm gonna make it real hard for y'all. And so you got to do all that. Then you got to sue Bishop White. So then you got to sue Levontre. So if you got money like that, go right ahead. Because that's going to be a good payday for the Wiley Show. Because that's going to take Wiley to the next level. Because then I have the power to talk to the media. Because I'm being sued by Larry Reid. Then I'm attached with the Larry, just like Tasha is attached to Cardi. Now, this is where the Cardi B and Larry Reid they're not in the same boat. Cardi B was accused of having bumps. Cardi B was accused of that, right? She never accused Cardi B of being a pedo, right? This situation with Cardi and Larry is totally two different situations. With Larry, he's been accused fondling with Levontre when he was a young 14, 15-year-old. He was a minor. That's what he's been accused of. So you bringing up Cardi, having a conversation with Cardi, her get on the phone with that broken English. Oh, yeah, you gonna have to sue her. And she been talking about my daughter and go have to sue her, Larry Reid. And let me tell you about Tasha and her lawyers and all that. And when she talking about my daughter and Offset and said I was a bad mother. I didn't want to make love to my husband and all that type of stuff and my daughter. And you get all that broken English. She gonna be speaking in broken Espanol and all that stuff. That ain't gonna go nowhere. You need to sue Levontre. You had multiple opportunities to sue Levante. You failed as a leader because I'm accusing you of a crime and you didn't do it. Why in the heavens and the hell would you invite the same wicked liar in your presence? God had sense when the devil was causing all that hell in heaven. He kicked him out and the rest of those angels that followed him to the pits of hell. So why in the heavens and the hell would you invite that you claim that lied on you with these allegations? You invite him back into your church. That don't make sense to me, bruh. You allow me one time with that. I'm not inviting you back in my church. I'm going to pray and get you another church and wish you well on your journey to go to another ministry. So that does not make no type of sense. And then Cons was like, what type of man that get on the line and DM? Bruh, it's plenty people that still be around their abusers, whether they're employers, whether they're their pastors, whether they're spiritually. You don't just up and just leave like that. Most people, a lot of people, I don't know how the statistic in front of me, if you get R word or fumble with a family member, you're just not going to up and leave your family if you're a minor. You're just not going to up and leave a church if you're a minor. So it's not so far-fetched to see Levante still want to be in the presence with his abuser. It is a such thing called Stockholm Syndrome and many other things. So that argument goes out the window. Okay? So that don't make no sense. So what Larry should have done, he should address it in his church and say, saints, pray. I'm under attack. The devil is busy. I'm publicly with my attorney. I don't know if it's Olga, but let's just say Olga, my other attorney that's representing me. We are now making an announcement that we have filed a lawsuit against Tasha K. We also filed, let me get my glasses. I got to get my glasses. Hold on 1 second. Let me get my glasses. We also filed a lawsuit against Wiley, Marquise Wiley from the Wiley Show. We also filed suit this morning against Bishop Whitehead. And so right now, people of God, we're going to bring this in the courts. You didn't do that. You, sir, went from your platform to Patreon, went to your employee show. You paid the money allegedly to fly in Armon in nice hotels and all that stuff. Reprimanded that man mind, got him going, whoo, he ain't been the same ever since he been in your presence because he looked real dumb by embracing a person that fumbled with a teenager and he gave you a hug and thanked you. His mind was so on the money and didn't look at the issue. And he's been a little ever since. So you should have sued, but you didn't do that. But you went in front of those two men in the middle with your knee touching Storm Monroe's knee to talk about men, sex, how you like it, how you lick it, and to get in Storm and Armand's business. So that didn't work. So then you say, well, let's go to a black woman, Sharrell's world. You didn't tell her, say, daughter, put on a nice wig, put on a nice dress. Didn't do none of that. She just looked like she just woke up to do that live. Didn't even look like she washed her face. Got up there with that dusty wig. I just went right here. I'm looking at the paperwork, and right here, I was just telling you, Larry, I'm looking at the paperwork, and I just know right then and there, I just really, really know that Tasha K, she's lied, she's lied on Cardi B and all that type of stuff. And then she was like, oh, you really need to sue Tasha. You really need to sue because she gonna get some clicks and views when you sue. Of course she gonna tell you to sue. But you said, I'm not going to sue. I'm going to sue. Then you back saying that you going to sue. You don't know what you want to do. I tried to tell you to sue Tasha K before it came out, but you didn't do it. Then you didn't want to name no names. You let your employee get under your skin, and I had to withdraw my financial support. I did. I had to withdraw my financial support of the Patreon. And I also I can't speak for everybody else, but if a pastor's having secrets and got these type of allegations, I don't think you need to be invested in that type of ground. And I'm just saying, I can't tell you to stop because you're grown, and stuff like that. But I stopped mine. I'm like, I give to something else. Okay. But I did do that. And I made it publicly. And ever since then, doors have been opening up for the Wiley Show. And so when I see this interview, it was all about Tasha. Tasha is bad. Tasha is evil. But you all, as the interviewer, ignored to ask Larry Reid about his interaction with Tasha. And then he said, well, Tasha K wanted me to invest $250,000 in her business. And I didn't really want to invest the $250,000 because she's such a liar. Bruh, you didn't have you didn't have the $250,000 or you didn't want to invest in it. But don't try to put it on your lawyer and say, oh, don't invest in Tasha K because she's such a liar. And where your receipt on that Tasha wanted you to invest in a business for $250,000. But you're trying to paint this picture. So we will see if this lawsuit is going to work. Okay? We will see if this lawsuit is going to happen. Like I said, I'm not afraid of any lawsuit. That's civil. That's not criminal. That is a civil proceeding. And I look at it, clicks and views proceeding. Clicks and views. Clicks and views. I need y'all to type in the chat. Clicks and views. I need 3 people to type in the chat right now. Clicks and views. Clicks and views. Clicks and views. That's what it is. Clicks and views. I see dollar signs. Because all that's going to do is make bloggers talk about Wiley. And I'm going to make sure they talk. It's going to be a click and a view. Until the judge tell me that I can't talk about Larry Reid. And there have to be a stamp of the courts. We going to talk about this. Clicks and views. You're taking the financial risk. And he said, they ain't got no money. They ain't broke. Ain't got, well, is you going to sue or not sue? We don't need you to hear that we broke, that we this, that we so broke, that we don't have the money, that we broke. Are you going to sue, sir? You can sue Wiley, you can sue Tasha, you can sue whomever. Because I'm still going to cover this. Justice for Levandre. No more tests. Justice for Levandre. And also Levandre's mother needs to be called to the carpet. But I'm not shocked at Levandre's mother. Because she reminds me of my grandmother when my sister was touched as a child by my former best friend, Mr. Blake Marlowe. S.A. Blake. What did he go by now? Because he changed his name because we exposed him years ago. I think that he go by S.A. Blake Marlowe. He fondled with my sister. Oh, I get that. I understand what people don't want to believe. I understand and I get that. And every chance I get, so that boy, I don't care if he a police officer, he touched my sister. And I know he ain't delivered. So watch your boys, watch your daughters. And he like, man, and little boys and kids too. So, it is what it is. So you want him around you. He's an attractive guy, but he got a spirit. He got a spirit in him. And you won't know by looking at him. But once my sister told me that, I was done with Mr. Blake Marlowe. I dropped him like a bad habit. No, it's S.O. Blake Marlowe. S.O. Blake Marlowe. Yeah. Touched and fumbled with her. He fumbled with another sister, Kaya. 2 little girls. And the church told me to keep quiet. Don't say nothing. I couldn't keep quiet. That was wrong. And I know my sister want to move on with her life. I get it. But every chance I get, I talk about this situation. And I got more followers now. When I was on Facebook, it was just me talking to a couple of people. But now I got 976 people. So watch. He out there in Virginia. You better watch it. He looks good. He's a good, attractive guy. Watch him. And he got a new wife and got a kid. Hope he don't touch his kid, but it is won't surprise me at all. And he got a badge. All right. Watch your kids. Watch them daycares. All right. So that's just how it is. So, and my grandmother didn't believe her. My grandmother told my sister, and I will never forget it. This was before she had a stroke. And I was in Chicago. We would stay on 65 and Justine. And my sister told me, she said, you know, Sharman touched me. When he would come over to see you, he would come in my room and mess with me. And another girl of the church told me he did the same thing to her. And I cut him off, and I just went to my uncle. He said, you don't know what we doing. You talk too much. You don't know what we doing to handle it. Ain't doing nothing. You ain't go to the cops. Prayer ain't gonna just handle it. The po-pos need to get involved. And so I think my sister named, you know, she didn't want to go through it anymore in college. They wanted to move on with their life. But I get it. I understand it. But I said, y'all might want to move on. But I'm always going to talk about it. And to this day, he don't go back to Chicago and visit. To this day, he left his first wife. His first wife left him because we were dragging him on social media. On my website, I was dragging him. I was dragging him on Facebook. This man changed his name from Sharman on Facebook, and he changed it to a whole nother name because people was Googling him and said, did you do it? And he changed his name. Let me make sure what he changed it to so y'all can know. He changed it to S.O. Blake Marlowe. Changed it to S.O. He took the Sharman off of it because every time you put it in all the old tweets and Facebook stuff will come up. So he changed it to S.O. Blake Marlowe. And I don't care if it is. It's my sister's story. I'm always going to tell it. I don't care how mad you get. I'm going to tell it on the rooftop. I'm telling it all. I told churches. I told the cop, and my sister didn't want to cooperate. I get that. You don't want to cooperate. I get that. It's a long, lengthy process. I get that. But it ain't going to stop me from telling it. So I ain't going to stop telling it. I ain't going to stop. Every chance I get, I bring it up. Because it's wrong. Bishop Cartwright is wrong to cover it up when you know that he did it to your niece. It's wrong to do that. We can't say you love God whom you have not seen, but hate your brother who you see every day. You can't say you're a believer of God, a man of God, and you let somebody fumble with your niece and you don't report them to the cops. You wrong for that. You wrong. And I'm going to keep my foot on their neck. I ain't going to stop it. All right. So back to Larry. Brother, you selling a lot of wolf tickets. Brother Levantre showed proof that he stayed in Georgia. Glad that he redacted his Georgia ID because Conscious put all his information out publicly. So when are you going to sue him? You got all that money and you can't find a process server to track him down. Who you lying to, bruh? Stop that lying. You can lie to that one with that dusty wig and give her a couple of dollars and she tap dancing and booty licking for you. But you got the resources, sir. You paid for Armon to come there and sit with you and get him drunk with some ginger beer mixed with Hennessy. Got him spilling stuff all over the table. So you got some money to track Levantre down. You claim that he homeless, so you can't serve him at the nearest homeless shelter, sir? You say he homeless. You were dragging Levontre. You said the man was homeless. What man of God? Oh, he homeless. I cut him off. He homeless. But still haven't sued him. When you gonna sue? File the paperwork. You can pay for some ginger beer mixed with Hennessy. You can go pay for a lawyer to file that lawsuit. You know why you don't want to do that? Because that's a lot of money. You got money, but your money ain't that long. Because you talk about 800,000, 900,000, another 800,000, another 900,000, and you ain't gonna do nothing but go to Patreon. All right, saints, what a man robbed God. We got some things going on. We other attack LRL stakeholders. Hashanana. We need y'all to give. We need 300 people to give $5,000. You got legal bills, so you can pretend like your money is real long. Let's see about that. Because if you sue Wiley, that's in another state. You sue Tasha, that's in another state. You sue Bishop Whitehead, another state. You sue Levontre, another state. So you're in 4 different places where probably you have to get 4 different legal teams to take the case. And if you got money like that, we'll go and spend it. Then if you do get a judgment, we're going to appeal it all the way, keep appealing it, file this, appeal this, put it in this LLC, put it in this Swish account, put it in, I'm going to keep tap dancing. You just have to chase it again. I'm just not going to just hand over my money. So that's going to take more money. So if you got money like that, then spend it. We waiting. We waiting. You doing all them interviews, that don't mean nothing to a lawsuit till I get a knock on my door. Boom, boom, boom. How you doing, Mr. Wild? You've been served. I'm going to take a picture with my process server. I keep my phone on. I'm going to take a picture with him. I'm going to take a selfie. I ain't going to do what Tasha K told her process server. I think she said, I'll delete you or something. She said, I'm going to take a picture with the brother and give him a hug. It's going to be some good content. I see dollar signs. And then I can go to the media, and then I can be in front of the courthouse, and then I can work on my fashions. Yeah, it's going to be some good content. That's all I can say. Go to the Christian Post and go to the Dallas News, and I get my verification because I'm all in the news. Yeah. I'm saying on message, so I'm going to be on message. And we're going to sit right in that courtroom, eye to eye right there. I want to go to trial, Your Honor. I want to go to trial. Let's go to trial. Because I'm not Daryl. Daryl didn't have no good common sense. He wasn't that smart. He's older than me, but he wasn't moving strategically. See, he was saying all that extra stuff. See, Daryl was saying, as a direct result of publishing and publicizing false defamatory statement, complaint in paragraph 32 through 43, Reid have suffered shame, humiliation, mental anguish, loss of enjoyment of life, public humiliation, loss of reputation generally in his ministry, count 1, and of defamation. And he also talk about how all the things that Daryl was saying about the threats showing up to his house. I ain't did none of that. I ain't never showed up to your house. I'm not that concerned about your house and showing up to your property, any of that. So you did all that type of stuff. And I see your lawyers here. Okay. Your lawyer's information. Okay. Hereby demand trial by jury. All right, I see it. Declaration of Larry Reid, and Larry Reid got his information. The declaration got his signature on here. I got the civil cover sheet here when he sued Daryl for assault, libel, and slander. Original proceeding, citizen of another state. We have right here general civil, meaning money. Eastern Division, that was Cleveland that he sued them in. I got the original summons. Yeah, and he got his whole address on here, and he got the proof. I'm definitely looking at the proof of service. So he didn't move strategically in the lawsuit. See, what Daryl did, he kept saying other stuff, adding stuff to it. You ain't got to add meat to the bone. Just stay with Levante. You didn't stay with Levante. You didn't interview Levante. You could have had all the clicks and views and had Levante on camera. You want to make it all secretive. No, this ain't no time to be secret. You got some allegations, you coming on camera. Oh, we ain't doing no interview. So, and then all that extra stuff that Daryl said about Larry Reid was just wrong. He shouldn't have said all that type of showing up to his house, because that just make you look bad. And then his audience didn't give like that. My audience, they give. All right, they will give for something like this content. Wiley and a lawsuit. Oh, we giving to Wiley. They came in for the library. This is some good content. So I got some other stack of court documents that we gonna read, but just not today. So I got another stack. Hold on, I got another stack. Give me a second. Hold on, y'all. Oh, I don't want to drop no books. Okay. Let me see. What stack is this? Okay, I've read that already. This is my other stack. Let me see what this stack is. Okay. Larry Reid, jurisdiction. We know all of this. We read all of this about his programming and about the $100,000 monthly that he makes for the 7,900 Patreon. Okay, we read all this stuff. Okay, because it's like the same thing. We read all this stuff. And then if I get more court documents, I will read it. Okay. Because he talked about how he N-word fumbled with a 14-year-old boy in North Carolina. Yeah, so I pretty much read all this stuff. We're just looking to see if something that's stand out. Okay. It's like a whole timeline. So yeah, I read all this type of stuff. Okay, I got that. So yeah, so I got that in my folder. Give me a second. Like a whole timeline. Put this back in here. So if I get sued, have all my documents in order. There we go. Give me a second. Hold on, y'all. Let me put my documents back in here. How to do this? Oh, okay. Put my documents back in here. Oh, come on, documents. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, I think it's in here. Okay, so I got my documents. So we're ready. So if the lawsuit happened, we will address all that, which it will not happen. I mean, come on now. You sue me, not Levante, that's more news because you got something to hide. Yeah, no, these ain't blank. These papers got stuff all over it. I got papers all over it. And stuff like that. So justice for Levante. And we're going to see if Larry Reid, because he said he's trying to get court, he's trying to get things from the police station, from that police report, because this is an open case. Larry said it's a lie, it's still an open case. And so he's trying to get court documents. He's trying to get a court order to see what's going on with the case. And so we're going to see about that. And Larry, what he's not telling you all is that when he filed a lawsuit, it becomes news. What Larry is telling people that ain't educated, that don't know about this media business, he's saying the reason why I need to sue, because if the media pick it up, they need to see a court document. But the reason why you did file, or you're not really seeing through with this, because you know the media is going to talk about it. And you don't want that. because Tasha K is trained into dealing with a crisis of this magnitude. And then now the media is going to talk about it. So that's why you don't want to sue. The media, they see it all. And then you say, I was at Leandria, and people was coming out to me talking about, oh, we don't believe it. That's a lie. People ain't telling you that they don't believe that and all that type. And if they is saying that, they saying that blow smoke up your butt. And you didn't even have conscience at that event with you, because you know you don't want him there with no lace wig looking like a Leah. And I was there at the event, and people was coming up to me, said, oh, we don't believe that, bro. We don't. Man, please, ain't nobody said, say something there. Who said that? So they can get rebuked. Ain't nobody come up to you and say, oh, brother, we don't believe that. We don't believe them allegations. No. Who said that? Was it Kurt Franklin? So, Sue. So, justice for Levante. His story deserved to be heard. And this is bigger than Tasha K. And then Larry Reid said, and this is the part I want to say, because we had Tasha K in here, so we want to give her a shout out. Oh, Tasha K trying to get in the church sector. I trying to remove me from my seat. You're not the king of the church sector. You're not the only one that can talk about things in the church sector, Larry. If Tasha K want to get in the church sector, she had every right to get into the church sector, because you're not that well liked in the church sector. You have your allies, but you're not that well liked in the church sector. So if Tasha K want to get in the church sector, she can get in the church sector. You don't control and dominate the sector. The church people, they ain't gonna want to listen to her. They ain't gonna want to listen to her. One day she believe in Jesus, one day she don't believe in Jesus. Well, one day you say you don't supposed to wear tattoos, the next day you want peen in your face, and they follow you. So I know Tasha K can get a following. She's married. She got a husband with discipline. She's beautiful. She ain't talking about putting peen all up bread basket and having little boys turn around in circles and do backflips. So how can you tell her that she can't be in the church sector? She's already in the sector and getting coins. You the one they got to interview prophets and got to get Bishop Pearson, and them videos ain't hitting like that. You getting the prophets on it ain't hitting like that. You did an interview with Storm and Armon. It didn't hit like that. Y'all got dragged. Armon got dragged so bad, right now, he got dragged so bad. So now he in a detox. Hold on, y'all. I'm back in my astrology. Let me pull a card. His spirit is disturbed. It's disturbed. So now he back reading cards. Because he know he didn't mess up, gave that man a hug. Oh, you helped me get my studio. You helped me get my studio. I wouldn't even have to let me give you a hug. And you innocent. You innocent. Oh, sorry. Oh, you innocent too. You innocent. You innocent. And they both went radio silent. He can't talk about it no more. Not even Storm. Storm went on a cruise with numbered his friends. He had a wedding, so-called wedding in Jamaica. The whole spirit of they can't even talk about it. And now, because Armon know he messed up, for standing with a man that he know deep down inside may be guilty. But that man took that ginger beer mixed with Hennessy and took them hundreds of dollars in that plane ride and took that picture in front of that car and came back and dragging YouTubers because you got dragged in your interview. How is it, Armon? You interviewed Milagro, and the same woman you interviewed dragged the interview. Dragged it. And then you came back dragging Wiley, dragging Conscious because he cried because he wasn't invited. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so hurt. My mentor, I interviewed them too, man. Didn't invite me to the parties and boo-hooing and crying like a little boy. Something wrong with you like that. You did all that cussing out Tasha, calling her all type of bees, and you crying because you weren't invited with the men. I went in there. I was on the stand. Larry Reid went there with Armon Wiggins and Sharrell, and I wasn't even right there. I'm just going to end the show. People go live for hours and was crying, hurt. Larry got to try to protect his last leading pawn on the chessboard to bring him on the interview because he was crying, hurt. Because he wasn't invited with two men. He wasn't able to have his legs wide open and talk about peeing in your face. Yeah. Wasn't having to peeing in your face. He wasn't in the peeing conversation. He was crying. Sniffing it. I just don't understand, y'all. I'm in the line. Oh, I ain't going to take no more phone calls and all that. He would have the show, have callers call. He changed his whole formula. He would have people calling in, can't even do that because they're going to drag you. Got flued out. You wasn't there crying. And I'm going to post the receipt exhibit. Hey, he innocent. I just want to tell y'all right now, Larry Reid is innocent. And I just couldn't even defend him no more. Cried. Just went to sit on down somewhere. And then he got to get you back on the phone. Hello, this is Dr. Larry Reid. Hey, Dr. Larry. I'm going on Sharrell's world. Brother, I need you to defend me. I need you to defend me for the kingdom. And you up there, oh, he won't. And you press your hair, listen to India Irie coming there, washing your face, getting your receipts in order to defend a man that when he got an opportunity, dumped you like a bad habit and brought Armon Wiggins, brought him a plane ticket, brought him a hotel room, brought him some ginger beer mixed with Hennessy, sat there with him, took a picture with him before you took a picture with your leader and with your mentor, and you was in your house in a dark room listening to India Irie pressing that false hair. False, it was fake. Covering that one side of that eyeball. False, it ain't real, false hair. In that dark apartment with hardly no lights. And then Armon coming and dragging Conscious. They supposed to be on message defending Larry, and they fighting among themselves. See, me and Tasha, we stayed on message. They fighting in the kingdom. Because they want to keep Daddy Larry Reid to themselves. So they fighting among themselves. They supposed to be defending him against these allegations, but they fighting among themselves because Armon trying to distract his bad behavior in that interview and being like a drunk, plump fool. And so now he want to drag the mentee, and they fighting among themselves. And I'm just sitting there just looking at them fighting. They trying to impress their Daddy Larry Reid. And Larry got to go right back and do another interview. Oh, I'll tell you about Tasha. I'm going to sue. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see. Daddy Larry Reid that was fighting over his presence. Now, Armon would have never went there. He went there because he was paid to go there. He see a check, and he been bought and paid for. He don't care if you touch a little boy. As long as you paying him, he's cool with it. Man, be careful with his little brothers and stuff like that. I know Armon got little brothers and stuff. Whew, I don't know if I should tell his daddy, like, you better check your son. Like, did you tell your son it's okay to get bought and paid for? And then you talking with a man that's been accused, and the main thing you talking about, are you a top or a bottom? What is a bread basket? Oh, this Larry. A bread basket, Armon, is what you do when you be twerking. You got allegations of being inappropriate with minors, and the main thing on your mind is Armon Wiggins' bread basket? You about to go somewhere out of here with that foolishness. You talk about somebody's bread basket. You got allegations, and the man, it did a press conference. A bread basket is what you do when you be twerking. Okay. A bread basket. Yeah. Taking care of your members, then cutting them off. That's a sign of control. A sign of manipulation. Yeah. Had them in the church, paid it, and I cut them off. And they've been homeless ever since. That's a sign of manipulation. You think that's good to brag? I'm glad you ain't Jesus. Oh, no. I'm glad you ain't the Father and the Creator. I cut them off. They've been homeless ever since. And he dragged Levante Mama in the interview. Yeah, Levante Mama was dating somebody in Africa, and they was doing a scam in Africa. Doing a scam. And so I cut her off. Because she doing something illegal. And still no lawsuit. All right, we're going to open up the phone lines. Somebody sent me a cash out for a reading. So give me a second. No. All right, do a reading. Okay. Coming to that high priestess. Yeah. That means courts. He's getting ready for the courts. And that's where you're going to find out the truth in the court proceeding with the high priestess. Yes, it's going to definitely be in the courts. You're going to see something that's going to come from the high courts of the land. I'm seeing courts. So it's definitely going to have to happen. I'm definitely saying that he's definitely going to do it. And I see 2 cups. All right, 2 cups. Definitely. So that means maybe 2 lawyers, and I'm seeing 3 of wands, maybe 3 lawsuits and all that type of stuff. And I'm seeing 4 of wands, maybe 4 different lawsuits. So we definitely have that's coming on, but we do see the high priest of it. So it's definitely going to the courts. I see that right then and there. I see that going to the courts. Okay, definitely going to the courts. Thank you so very much for definitely doing that. It's Flora really keep exposing Wiley. What kind of pastor cut off his congregation? He will cut him off. That's a sign of manipulation. And he brags about it. I had a penny bill, put them on, and I cut them off. All right. Okay. Thank you all so very much. Okay, we're going to open up the phone lines. All right, people, we do have the cash app because, like I said, if a lawsuit do happen, we gonna need y'all to give. And I know my people, when y'all see Wiley, make sure y'all give. Hit the cash app. Let the money be there. $ Marquise Wiley 28. Also, we have Zelle. If you want to give via Zelle, we have that as well. We have the PayPal and stuff like that. And so, just in case if a lawsuit do happen for the brother, that we will be prepared and have a beautiful suit and tie. And we are definitely doing that on, if that definitely happened. So, so we definitely hit the cash app and say this is for the legal defense fund. So we already have multiple accounts, and we'll put that in another account. So just in case, if 800, we got 936 people. If everybody give $9.36 and just say this is for the legal defense fund, say, oh Wiley, I want to match that with $900. I want to match that with $1,000. Definitely are doing that as well, because we ain't gonna stop covering this case. If you want to give $8.88 and say, hey, Wiley, I want to give $8.88, and no, Wiley, I want to give $8,000 and stuff like that. If you don't want to give, I'm talking to givers. If you ain't giving, I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to the people that's gonna give. All right, because that's gonna be some good content. All right. I don't need your prayers. Okay, somebody sent that way. Okay. Ty, hold on. High Mess History. You need a reading. You need a reading. Okay. We definitely put it on that type of way. Okay. Give me a second. Oh, I got these cards upside down. Hold on, y'all. I'm new at this. Okay. She want a reading. All right. Oh, yeah. I see something. You got a fool in your life. Somebody in your life that's very foolish. And I'm seeing it right now. You got to cut them off. I don't know if it's a fool in your life. It's a fool in your life. You got to cut them off right now. I'm seeing that right now, Tyre Mess History. I'm seeing that right now. You got a fool somewhere in your presence. I don't know the name, but I just see that right then and there. A fool. At 8 of Wands. Okay. So you got 8. You got maybe on the 8th day. But yeah, this is the food right then and there. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to see it. Okay, that's the food. 8 of Wands and stuff like that. So yeah, Jeff gotta get that food out of there. I don't know. I just see a food. Oh, it's real hot. Well, I'm getting hot. He ain't about that. Okay, that's what I'm getting. Right then and there, you definitely have a food in there, so you got to get that out of there. Okay. Okay. All right. That's what the spirit is. That's what it's. Okay. Okay. Yes. Get that fool out of there. Okay. All right. And it could be you're going to meet a fool soon and you know you've been warned. All right. Thank you, High Message Street. I love you, Ty. Love you. Okay. We're going to open up the phone lines. And I'm supposed to show the cards. Y'all, I'm a baby in this. Okay. And for all the people that I read cards and y'all say y'all are Armon Wiggins fans, I don't give a damn if he read cards. I can read cards too because a supporter, they bought me the cards. And if I want to read a card, I can read a card. Okay? There's plenty of the card readers out here. So keep your comments to yourself. I don't care if you post it on my YouTube channel when it's done. You can that's engagement. But don't come to my Instagram. Most of y'all have found out you're blocked on Instagram. All you reading cards, you will be blocked. Don't bring that to my IG. My IG, that's my place that I just want nothing but praises on my IG. Okay, if you come with some effed up, you will be blocked immediately. And I will not unblock you unless you in the Cash App, and I'm talking about good zeros and a nice little stack in there. Okay, so just keep it to yourself. I'm gonna keep on reading it. Okay, so if you want to read it, you already know what you got to do. You got to send a little ching ching, and I will give you a reading. Okay, all right. Okay, so we're gonna open up the phone lines, and I've actually been watching a lot of ghosts, Whoopi Goldberg ghosts. So I've been, I watch a lot of Miss Cleo, and so I watch a lot of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I have a lot of inspiration on that stuff. So give me a second. Let me open up the phone lines. And we're gonna open up the phone lines, you guys, and then we're done because I said enough. I want to leave on a 3-hour mark. So we got 30 minutes. If you want to call in, we will allow you to call in for we're gonna keep the phone lines open for 30 minutes. And now it's time for the public to give their side and to tell me what do you have to say. All right, and then we will be back tomorrow. We're going live tomorrow, covering the Tasha K coverage. We'll be going live. We'll be going live tomorrow, covering it as well. And if it's a lawsuit, we will cover that as well. If I get served with a lawsuit, of course, my members, you all will be notified first, and then we will come with a prepared public statement, and then I will go over strategy with people as well. We will definitely go over strategy as well if we do get a lawsuit. Okay, so if we get served, when I'm out there getting my smoothie, I will go live and address my Patreon and my members, and then I will go live publicly and address my audience about the current lawsuit, and then we will let you know the point of action from that one. Please do not send me any emails saying you're not going to donate. You will be blocked. Okay, immediately. All right. I ain't got time for your foolishness. I'm only with people that want to give into the platform. All right. Keep your suggestions to yourself if you ain't giving, because I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to receive it. I receive it when it's change involved. All right. The number is 972-674-9462. Okay. And we will have a strategy. Okay. All right. All right. And if y'all over there on my other show that I do, my radio show, I call it the BBB list. What's it? BLB. I forgot what I call it. Okay. All right. But yeah, we don't play no games over here. You know what I'm saying? Me too. I have some change. Yes. Have some change with that criticism. All right. I think it's BBL. Black B. Yes. Welcome to the Wiley Show. Can you hear me?
Hey, Wiley.
Oh, hey. Okay. I want to make sure it worked because I didn't hear it ring. So that's why I'm like, oh, is it working? Okay, it's working. Hi.
Hi. Wiley, I don't know if you covered this part, but just because I've been cooking, I'm in and out of your show. But am I allowed to say LR's name?
You sound like Reid. Go ahead.
Okay.
You sound so low. Are you on your speakerphone or something?
Oh, yeah. Let me take it off. Maybe that'll help.
Okay.
Okay. How's that?
Oh, that's much better.
Okay. Well, so, yes, I agree with you that Sharrell and her husband are paid off, because after, I found it interesting last night how on her interview, when they showed the receipt, the text exchange between Levantre and Larry, they cut off the part where Levantre said something about, it's my fault for making you feel like it's okay that you molested me. And they strategically cut that part off. Nobody in the chat or the show saw that part. They didn't see his response either. So that was one thing. And I noticed that when they were playing the call with his cousin, with Larry's cousin / best friend, they also cut off the call at a part where Levantre, or not Levantre, the other accuser, was about to say something else. So that's that part. But when they took it to Sharrell's husband's YouTube page afterwards, oh my God, they would not let anybody speak up on behalf of Larry. Against Larry is what I'm trying to say. They didn't let anybody speak up against him. They were saying, you need to bring facts and receipts, not your opinions. Even though people were saying, this is not my opinion. I heard Larry say that he would not admit if he did something like this. They were cutting people off. And then on the flip side, Sharrell must be super upset with Tasha because she was like, she needs money. That's why she's doing this right now. She's a known liar, all this stuff. And for them to fight so hard, knowing that they didn't even really look into this case, they're taking whatever Conscious says and they're preaching it like it's Bible. And Conscious knows how to emotionally manipulate people. And that's what he did to them. And they're very easily manipulated, Sharrell and Perry. He one day was crying. Then the next day said he was crying because he saw Perry in the chat. So of course, that's an angle to use when you're manipulating emotionally. Anyways, my food is burning, Wiley, but that's what I noticed. I said, how are these people fighting so hard for Larry and they refuse to even talk about some of the other evidence that has been presented for Levantre? They just refuse to listen to it. And when another caller called in saying, Sharrell was saying that Tasha K pays people for interviews and that Levantre's broke, that's why he's doing this. Well, a caller challenged that because she was interviewed by Tasha. And when that happened, Sharrell just completely went off and said, that's not true. Tasha said it out of her own mouth that she pays people $10,000. The girl said, could you provide a link or evidence of that? And Sharrell couldn't, obviously, because I don't think Tasha's ever said she pays people $10,000 for an interview. But anyways, Wiley, yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you so very much, Beth, for giving us that insight. Thank you so very much for that. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye-bye. Don't burn your food now.
Bye. No, my food is burning for the gossip.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you for that. But yeah, they're not going to let other people's side to get out there. And you had Sharrell's husband, in which I think Sharrell's out of order. Hurry up and get it. That's your husband. Why are you talking to him like that's your kid? Anyway, maybe because you're the breadwinner, he's not. You need to sue all the YouTubers. Sue them. Like trying to do a dig at me, sir. Get some new dentures in your mouth. Y'all want him to sue Wiley so y'all can put my name in the title and get some content. Okay, so that's just how that goes. But again, we gonna see y'all come to my channel or sue everybody. Got dentures coming out of your mouth and all that type of stuff. Like, get somewhere and sit on down, sir. And get your wife some new wigs. Okay. So we will see how that's going to play out in the future with Larry Reid and these lawsuits. Of course, if you sue in federal court, we get to get that as well. If we sue in state court, we'll be able to get that. We have to actually go through. Hello, welcome to the Wiley Show.
Hey, Wiley.
Hey.
You got me cracking up today. The bread baskets and the wigs and the side parts. But anyways, I just want to give my commentary real quick on Larry Reid.
Yes.
Which I'm not going to call him Dr. Larry Reid because you're a doctor. You're supposed to be healing, helping people, and it sounds like you're doing the opposite. So you ain't getting that doctor title from me. But anyways, the worst thing that Larry Reid did was validate those receipts. Why would Larry Reid validate those receipts? Because now, technically, those receipts can be used as evidence in court. Mm-hmm. And so whatever you wrote in those receipts, whatever you try to delete, is now going to be available as evidence. And so it's just like, who is advising him? I don't know. And he kept saying Levantre's obsessed, and I'm like, the only person obsessed seems to be the one with the pink wig. You go on his page, it's like shrine on there. So I'm like, Levante looks chill, calm, cool, and collected during this interview. He ain't no obsessed. So anyways, Larry, Wiley, I just have to call in and say it real quick, like, he should not have validated those receipts, because if it comes out that you had deleted stuff or anything like that, you're gonna be guilty. You're gonna be guilty.
My thing is this, he presenting these like we are. I get it. He's trying to change the court of public opinion, but it's too late because you're playing catch up, and your production is not matching Tasha K production. Because the way that they did the Patreon was ghetto. They should have all been in the same room. You got all them expensive cameras, all them expensive mics. You got your wife or your ex-wife look like she in some type of dungeon or some type of bunker in a black ops site. That's what it looks like. And I'm like, she looks so drained from this episode. It wasn't, the production wasn't a Tasha K production is on point. And then you try to go to a platform that's dark conscious, not really touching and reaching. Then now you're trying to cater to a Sharrell's World. That's not reaching either, because Sharrell's World audience, majority of them are middle-aged white women that love celebrity, that love reality shows. So they're not in the church sector. And Sharrell's doing it for clicks and views, but it's not touching like that, because the majority of them subscribers that she have is she got it for reality shows. It's not for church sector stuff. So that's why that's not touching over there at all. And so he's trying to get a narrative, and he wanted to use Armon, but she went to Storm. That didn't touch. That backfired tremendously. That backfired, and it did not work. And it embarrassed Armon Wiggins. He got embarrassed, and he went radio silence, and he's shuffling cards, and he went back to talking about female rappers, because he can't. This situation is so hot that he put his foot in his mouth by saying, "Oh, you innocent, give me a hug. Thank you for buying my studio equipment." He said that out of his mouth. Wow. Gumping down ginger beer mixed with Hennessy and everything else that's mixed in,
So the only people that are defending him are bought and paid for?
They're bought and paid for. Bought and paid for. And Larry's not doing this privately. He's doing this publicly. Even we didn't shut King Jives down. Once we played that recording, and when he said that Larry Reid is weird, sending him that $500, that he believed his god brother, that he was touched by Larry, and he haven't said nothing since.
Wow.
Because he believed that Larry is guilty. And once he got on tape, he went radio silent. Because he said it out of his mouth. Oh, it was weird. Yes, I believe my god brother, but he told me to keep quiet. He said that stuff.
Wow.
And you haven't heard from Conscience since. I mean, King Jive since.
Wow. That's his own god brother?
He said his god brother, and he said, but my god brother told me to keep quiet. And then he said, I don't have the money like that. I don't have the money like that to do that type of stuff. And I can't deal with no lawsuit because I ain't got it like that.
Wow. And he got a super chat from Larry, didn't he?
He got a super chat from Larry, and he said it was weird that he sent me that $500 super chat, and then a couple of days these allegations come out. That's what he said.
Wow. Larry needs to get his crew together, because they're telling different stories, different timelines. I mean, it's just a mess. This thing is a mess. It's just a mess.
Yeah, so thank you so very much for calling and all that. Now I want to ask you, do you think that he should sue?
He should sue. If he's innocent, he should sue. I don't know what he's waiting for to sue when he's almost says, and then where's the lawsuit?
He said, I'm gonna sue. He did say he wasn't gonna sue, then he wanted to say he gonna sue. So wow. But he said in this recent interview, he said he's not suing Bishop Whitehead because he said Bishop Whitehead ain't gonna be here longer, meaning he's alluding to his whole federal case that he got with the feds. But he did say he's gonna sue Levante, and he said he's going to sue. He's going to refile that case, and he said he's going to sue Tasha K.
And is Pink Wig going to be his lawyer?
And I don't know who's going to be his lawyer. I know he's not using Olga because Olga is going to represent Tasha. So we don't know how that's going to play out.
I mean, if he's innocent, then sue, Larry. Stop going on a press tour. It's like he's trying to convince himself. Just sue. Keep quiet. Keep listening. But we'll see. Thank you for letting me call in, Wiley.
Thank you so very much for calling in, sis.
All right. Have a great night.
Bye-bye. Okay. Give me a second. I don't know if this is it. Let me send it to him a text. Oh, yeah, the call. Oh, hold on. Hey, welcome to the Wiley Show. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Wiley.
Hey.
I just came in on the tail end. I heard you ask the question, do I think Larry should, or do we think that Larry should sue? I personally don't think that he should sue. I think it would be a waste of money. Number one, I don't think he's going to get anything out of it, and it's not going to necessarily change the narrative at this point. I mean, people who believe it, people who don't. I think that if there's a possibility that it happened, let's say he felt that Levontre, and I'm not saying that this happened, but if he felt that Levontre was of age and something did happen, I think he's paying the wrong people. I think he needs to work it out with whomever. You know, the Bible says money answers all things. I think he needs to send his money to start answering his problems. But I think on Sharrell's world, and I don't know if he's telling the truth, but he said that it was going to cost like $800,000. I think that's a waste of money. He's not going to get anything from Tasha, and he's not going to shut it down. Like, because especially like if you're going after somebody, like let's say he sues Levontre has nothing to lose. That he's not going to stop talking. And if Levontre, really believes that he's been victimized, he's not going to stop, wanting his voice to be out there. And if he feels like that, hey, he was victimized, he did things that was against his dignity. Larry took advantage of him and then just threw him out on the street with nothing, and that set his life on the wrong course, then, of course he's angry. So if he was my client or if I was on his strategy team, I would send somebody in the midnight hour and I would work that out. I think that that's the best course of action.
Because my thing is this, if someone is slandering you because he sued Daryl, and if you sued him, why are you not suing everybody else? And the reason why this story have grew so many legs is because the failure of Larry suing Daryl and not Levontre. You understand what I'm saying? So now you have a case of Levontre going on another's blogger channel, and the blogger is 500 times larger than Daryl Moore channel. And now Larry is filing paperwork and filing motions to get Daryl locked up because Daryl Moore violated the agreement that they won't talk about each other. So Larry is spending money for that and to get Daryl to pay some money per day, and then also file some type of motions to either eventually get him locked up. So he had that going, and he filed that lawsuit with Daryl very quickly. He have not done that with Tasha.
I think like with him suing Daryl, I think the strategy there was that he felt like once he shut Daryl down, then he would shut down the allegations because Levontre or whoever wouldn't have a platform to speak on. And then he probably knew like Daryl doesn't have the money, his money isn't as long as his to fight it. So, he probably felt like he was going to shut it down.
But the strategy should have been you should have sued them simultaneously, both of them at the same time, Levontre and Daryl. But you left Levontre still out there to continue to talk. no gag order, and then you sued him late. Then you finally sued him, and then once Levante responded, you dropped it, and then you said, "Okay, I'm gonna refile," and then that gave Tasha K an opening to interview him, not just Levante, but his mama. And I'm hearing that she may interview the brother and somebody else. I don't know that to be true or not. So you gave her power and an opening to just blow this out of the park. And then it put Larry on the defense. You know.
But if he actually slept with Levante, and I'm not saying he did, but let's just say allegedly he did that. I mean, it's not going to be it's not, defamation if he actually did it, so, it's only, it has to be a lie. And it's not malicious intent if Levante really feels like, hey, he's been taken advantage of. And all of that stuff is going to come out in court, all of that stuff and more. And then, like, the people on his team, once they get in court, they can understand, like, it's different when you're on a Zoom call and you're, saying things or whatever. But when you're in court, you have to be conscious of, like, if you're going to be telling lies or whatever. I wouldn't, to me, look, if I was his church member, I wouldn't be going to his church. You know what I'm saying? So from that strategy, if I found out about this, look, I'm not following Larry. I don't follow his platform. I'm just talking about, like,
for me as a father, if I was to have a son, I wouldn't want my son sleeping with my pastor at 14, 15. That's illegal.
If it was me, my son wouldn't be left alone with the pastor. When
absolutely, I agree with
you.
I agree with you. Like, living, he's with me. He ain't living with no pastor. None like that. And then why your pastor buying people apartments and living? You got the assistant pastor living with the members, and then you cutting folks off. Something that is suspicious about that. That don't look right. It look kind of cult-ish. It looks weird. Like, you giving these.
It looks weird a lot. Like, even when he talks about Levante being obsessed, and he's talking about, like, a teenager. To me, I'm thinking, teenagers look up to adults. So it's a lot that's going on there. I'm just talking about, like, do you think he should sue? And I think not, because I feel like there's a lot of things that's pointing to, I don't know if he did it or not, but it's, it's pointing to that something could have happened.
Yeah. So I'm looking at all of this, and with a lawsuit, you get in front of the judge and you proceeded at that. And see, Larry, he pretend like he got all this money, and then, it's going to cost me $800,000. It's going to cost me now. And these people broke. They broke. Well, Tasha not broke.
Yeah.
She's still doing shows, still got a staff.
Even if Tasha
still got
property, he's not going to get anything from Tasha. I think number one, he shouldn't sue Tasha, because, Tasha's just giving, it's no different from what he's done in the past. Tasha's just giving, these victims or, alleged victims, he's giving them a platform to speak. And so I don't think Tasha's not, she's just talking about what she's heard and what they told her. She's not, spreading any rumors other than what's been said. You know what I'm saying? So, and if she believes it, there's no harm in that. Even if she did know, there's a possibility that they had a conversation. Maybe she didn't look into it, whatever. So I don't see anything from that. But in my opinion, no, I don't think he should sue. I think that he's paying the wrong people. I think he needs to work it out with Levante and whomever he needs to, if something happened, allegedly, if something happened, this guy's life was set out on the wrong course. He's angry. Then, do something to, set it back on the right course. And I just think, that's what he should do.
Well, thank you, ma'am, for calling in and giving your side of the story.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you all so very much. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. It's a lot of stuff that we did not get a chance to talk about today because we want to focus on 2 topics, and we went over time for that. So we'll be back live, and so we will be addressing some other topics tomorrow on Sunday. Thank you all so very much for calling in, for giving y'all. I'm gonna take this last caller. Okay. Hey, welcome to the Wiley Show.
Well, thank goodness she's not advising Larry on what he should do, because I'm gonna tell you what, listening to this lady is making me just fearful. I hope she does not have kids, because number one, the previous caller said something about, if he did it, then it would be nothing to prove, because it's not defamation if he didn't do if he did it. Well, first of all, it would be a crime. That's first thing. If, based on what the accuser is saying, as far as the age is concerned, and it is a crime to groom, and it is a crime to do the things that he has been accused of doing. And, to gallop from one platform to another platform, and then to be so desperate to have an interview in front of senior citizens that really don't even know you, that are just focused on life after lockup, or whatever the heck, or love after lockup, and Real Housewives, and all of, they don't know about a Larry, but they do know about being the M word. And they do know, or maybe they have known of people that have been put in those situations. So we can't just discount it and say, well, Larry shouldn't sue. Larry shouldn't do this. Larry shouldn't do that.
I feel as though if he's going to sue, then do it. Don't talk about it. Be about it. because
all these different platforms, that he's visiting is really not doing anything but muddying the water. Because it's one changed statement after another.
Yeah, he's not on message.
It's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, because one day he says he's going to sue, one day he's not going to sue. He's not on message, and I could tell he's not investing some of the millions or hundreds of thousands he's getting from his Patreon people into a PR. He's not on message. He's doing it the Larry Reid way, and it's failing him very badly. It's definitely not on message, because if you went to a crisis person, you ain't gonna be talking about no sex. You've been accused of fondling with a teenager. That's gonna be the last thing on your mind to be talking about peeing and breadbasket.
That is correct. And the gag is, allegedly, this accuser did go to Bishop Jordan and talk to Bishop Jordan, did go to Shamarko, did go to the leaders of the church and Larry's leader. But see, allegedly he was talked out of contacting the police. I mean, this kid, he's not a kid, but this guy has been talking about this for years. And whoever he has been to discuss the matters has talked him right out of contacting the police, except for this last time that he filed the police report. So, and then also everybody's talking about Tasha. Tasha's not, she's not giving her accounts on what Larry did to the accuser. The accuser is giving the accounts on what Larry did to him. So I don't understand why everybody keeps talking about Tasha. I'm not really a big fan of Tasha, but at the same time, I know that she's not the one that is giving the interview.
Facts.
So they can miss me with that, basically. And as far as Daryl Moore, it is asinine. If we are on the largest social media platform in the world, for you to sue Daryl Moore, thinking that is going to shut up the accuser, when you got a channel next to you that has over 1 million followers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you get. Because you went from having 200 people watch to almost 10,000 in the chat. That's crazy.
Yeah, because she have this. I told you this is a juicy story, and being that this is a juicy story with her massive platform, I knew that the public was going to turn against him, and he didn't handle it right. He thought that he was unable to give people $500 super chats, and he thought that he was going to get those same powerful numbers, and he didn't get those same powerful numbers.
No, he didn't get those same powerful numbers. You can put all the channels that he has been on, their numbers, and it still would not match Tasha K. So the thing is that you have a whole machine that could really end your gossiping life. And you're running in front of senior citizens. They're not going to be able to help you.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, somebody had called me private, so I'm gonna wait till they call back. And let me take the number down because they had called in private. We're gonna give our closing remarks. Okay, we're gonna ask all of you guys. Hey, welcome to the Wiley Show.
Oh, I wanted to call back and address that other caller who just called in. Yes, I do have children. My child would never be alone with a pastor. When we go to church, my child sits by me. But what I'm saying is that Levante is 30 years old. What if he can't get a conviction, a criminal conviction, but something happened to him? They're saying it happened when they're saying that he came in contact with Levante when he was 17, which, would not make it a crime. But I think it's morally, wrong. So I'm saying if something happened, hey, let this boy walk away with something. If his life was set out on the wrong path, if he's not going to be able to get a criminal conviction. And I'm looking at it with Larry that he should pay this boy for his pain. So that's what I'm talking about. Do I think he should sue? No, it would be a waste of time. If something happened, it would be stupid. And I mean, even if he was to sue, a lot of people are saying for him to sue. Let's just say if it didn't happen and it's it's criminal charges or whatever, that's not going to change people's opinion. People are still going to think something happened. There's a lot of people that feel that way.
I agree.
So I just think that's what I'm talking about. Yes, I have children. I would never let my children be alone with a pastor. I would never be set, go out of the country and my kids are left with strangers. I don't even let my, kids, now my son is a little bit older, but I wouldn't even let him go to the bathroom. Somebody's going to go with you. My son learns self-defense. I wouldn't have him selling his body for $60. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but if this happened to this boy, no one listened to him and he can't prove it, I feel like he should walk away with something.
I hear your point. Well, thank you so very much for calling back in.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we're done. All right. Thank you, because then the other caller going to be calling in back and forth. All right, so let's get our last church announcements in the building. Okay, so we have a meet and greet that we are meeting in Dallas, Texas, and we will be meeting you all next month on February 11th, 2023. Now, I may go to Chicago for a funeral. I may I may not go. I just send my condolences because of the weather and stuff like that. But we will see how the weather is going to permit. But I will be meeting the subscribers on February 11th, 2023 at 3 p.m. If you want to attend that meet and greet, please email me. And I don't care if it's one person, Mimi. Email me at wileyshowproductions@gmail.com, 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 and put in there Dallas meet and greet. Okay. And that will be February 11th, 2023. That's next month on the 11th at 3 p.m. Also, too, the Las Vegas meet and greet is October 6th through the 9th, 2023. And that's going to be October 6th through the 9th, 2023. And if you want to go to that meet and greet, please RSVP just by emailing me so we can have your email so we can send you stuff about the party bus. Some of my Vegas locals actually hit me up and they just want the party bus information. So once we get that information, we're going to email everybody. And also with the concert, that's at Wiley Show Productions at gmail.com. Wiley Show Productions at gmail.com. Put in a subject, Las Vegas meet and greet, and we will send you the host hotel. We sending this stuff early, so because I know a lot of y'all got to take time off. I know that y'all got to save, and you still got almost a year to prepare. For that, that's going to be October, almost a year, like 10 months. Is that okay? To prepare for the trip. We went to Vegas last year. This year, I'm expecting a bigger crowd. So if you want to come, please email me at wileyshowproductions@gmail.com. We already have the hotel we're going to be at, and we haven't chose the concert because, like I said, I haven't seen a concert yet that we can go to for during that weekend. But again, thank y'all so very much. And that's going to be on October. That's the first, I believe that's October 6th through the 9th. So, and that's this year. So I'm looking forward to it. So if you're going to email me, please email me at wileyshowproductions@gmail.com. All right. Also, we do have a Cash App. If you want to contribute to the Cash App, you can contribute to the Cash App at $ Marquise Wiley 28. $ Marquise Wiley 28, and you also contribute to our platform. PO Box 701122, Dallas, Texas 75370. PO Box 701122, Dallas, Texas 75370. Thank you all so very much for your support and for you coming on the show and showing me love. Thank you all so very much. Little black boy, you're beautiful. Little black girl, you're enough. When things get hard, put God first. Thank you. Good night. We will restream this on tomorrow. Thank you all. Make sure y'all go check out my King Randu interview. And also, I got another interview that's going to stream tomorrow as well. Thank you all so very much. We'll be back tomorrow. All right, y'all. I'm feeling a little better. I might go out to the club tonight. Talk to y'all later. Peace. Subscribe, like, comment. Keep the conversation going in the comments. I want to read your comments. I know y'all going to drag me about the tarot card. So as long as you ain't using profanity, go right ahead and comment below. Good night.